So I was talking about this with a few people in coaching the last, probably like 2 or 3 weeks worth of one-on-ones that. Like social media can be great, and social media can also be. Where you feel. Horrible just yet. Yeah. Now, whether they're actually selling as much as they do or whatever, but. This is a great question. What is it that differentiates those who achieve at a high level? From those who don't seem to accomplish as much?
I think I made this post last night, didn't I? I put it on
In preparation for this.
Yeah, I put it on our Facebook page last night.
I think it's getting out of bed. Sometimes it's big rocks. The big rocks are my big thing, like I'm trying to get caught up seeing. Showing up.
So 2 of my favorite quotes are on this. One's from Mike Tyson. Said you don't watch or listen to his podcast. It's probably one of the best podcasts out there. Like he's led such a difficult life. Like just the perspective he has now in his like 60s. Is just very interesting, but he talks about, when he was coming up. One of the reasons he became the best is he treated the stuff he hated doing like it was his favorite thing in the world. And that made him show up every day. And then Kobe Bryant has a quote where he puts in that extra 2 hours a day that nobody else does in the course of the week. He's already 14 hours ahead. And then over the course of a year, I forget how the math works, and he's like in 5 years. How much further are you back? So it's just waking up and showing up and putting in the effort.
Yeah, Kobe and Michael Jordan would intentionally show up to the gyms on away games before the other team would, to show them that I'm here working harder than you. And he wouldn't leave until after everybody else left for practices to show them. It was intentional.
So in the beginning, they may not be the most skilled, but they're putting in the effort to show you that.
Yeah. So can I read my post? That answered this question, I think. This is from Mark Weiss, who is the Be Accountable on the 6 videos I sent you guys. He said, all the highest achievers make time to go to class consistently, use systems and models, and hire coaches.
Same.
All the highest achievers make time to go to class consistently, use systems and models, and hire coaches. I think that even goes that Rachel Adams Lee, that, dear Lord, I can't even tell you how much volume she does. And she makes it a point to go to 1 class a week at the market center as a student and 1 class a week at the market center to teach. And like I said, she gets 100 referrals a year just from Instagram, not counting the rest of her business. So.
And then it also builds the camaraderie, like the teammates, so to speak, or the other agents in the office feel connected to you. You get to know them. Just doing something like this, like you got to meet a couple, 2, 3 of our new agents. That's big. Because that is something that we have here that I think is pretty unique, that everybody can kind of lean on each other. So all the 6 personal perspectives kind of revolve around these 3 things: mindset, attitudes, and approach to life. So are you starting the day with a positive mindset, or is it just, it's gonna be another crappy day? And that mindset right there is gonna set the tone for the day.
I was driving yesterday and I got out of the car, it was nasty and I was like, I'm in a good mood. I am in a good mood. This is great.
This frozen rain hitting you in the face.
Happy spring break.
It actually helped a little, because I feel like a couple days ago, I was not in a good mood and I was like, I don't know, I'm not with this. Been listening a lot to Mel, like, yeah.
No,
Like, social media, what, you're right, it's social, I'm getting sucked in. Yeah.
that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was probably one of the better books I've read in the last little bit.
Yeah.
If you're unaware, it's the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins.
Yeah, I just heard it on the podcast the other day.
Yeah.
It's a great book.
It is.
But sometimes tricking yourself into that, or how many of us, I'm always curious on this answer. At the end of the long day, can you just sit there for an hour and do nothing? No social media, no nothing. Sit there,
Never
cup of
tried.
coffee, I can't.
Yeah.
Like I have to like literally set my phone elsewhere
Yeah.
to not do it. Maybe not even an hour, let's just say half hour.
Okay, I can do it.
Oh.
An hour.
But we should be able to.
Well, wait, like do nothing, nothing?
Yeah, just
Just
like
like-
coffee and
But
like.
think about the course of your day, how busy it is.
Yeah.
And that recharge is so important.
Yeah.
But how many times do we hit absolute burnout? Like we should be not even getting there, we should be before we get there. And then you mentioned systems and models and things like that, and that should be part of like how we design our day, our week, our month. To have these times in there.
I've been meaning to meditate, so I'll wrote that down.
Whatever works for you, like going out and just taking a walk and like looking at an amazing sunset. Or just sitting there and actually meditating, or going to the gym and working out. Actually disconnecting. Like those agents that cannot reply at like 7 o'clock at night until the next day, I'm like, strive to be. Because you feel like as soon as that call comes in, no matter the time, you gotta reply.
I have a question.
Yeah.
As it was, I actually thought of it today, you said do not disturb, I still texted you. But, so what is the whole thing with that? Cause if you do that, the text still goes through.
It just won't like ding your phone.
Ding your phone. Oh, is that what it is?
Like,
Oh, okay, cause I'm always like, are they trying to tell, and I knew you wouldn't care, cause you know,
Yeah.
I'm a girl. But I thought, are they trying to tell me don't text me, or?
I'm just saying, don't be surprised if I
Oh,
reply right away because my noises, the
Oh, okay.
vibrations,
Okay,
like I went to Chicago, whatever it was, 2 weeks ago, and I put in do not disturb from 5 o'clock Friday till 5 p.m. Monday. I even turned off the little red circles. And for that first evening, I might as well been shaking like anxiety, like, what am I missing? But by the time Saturday rolled around, it was awesome.
yeah,
It's like you don't realize how much power it has over everything.
Good morning.
So, and Isaac is printing guides for you guys, so. And as a ready, they'll be out there. So maybe for now, you guys can share it. So as we get going into it.
Remind me, Lee?
Oh, there they are right there. Perfect time. So here's all of the 6 personal perspectives. Commit to self-mastery. Commit to the 80-20 principle. Move from E to P. Make being learning based the foundation of your action plan. So talking about going to like 1 class a week. Remove your limiting beliefs and then be accountable. They're just kind of little quotes for each of these. Feel like you're gonna be the best, think you're gonna be the best as you work towards this. That is what you strive. Focus on the big rocks. What are the things, prioritize your day, everything you get accomplished today. Prioritize that list and then make a line in the sand. Everything above that line has to be done today. It cannot be 20 things long. Just won't happen.
I watched a video, because I know we've been talking about time blocking, but I needed something a little different, which, so I watched a video and she said to do like a total master dump of everything.
Yep.
Cause I've got a flip, and I got something going on. So, and then she said, depending on who you are, you might then have 1 list, or you might have 5 or 10 or whatever works for your brain, because everybody's so different, which is totally different. And that has helped me so much to now I've just, and I did, and I looked at them, and then I hide in the shoes, get out some colored pencils. My brain likes that too. So, yeah, so I highlighted in pink every, like, the things I have to do, and the things that are going to make me money.
And then find out the stuff that you can't do.
Yeah,
Like if you hate mowing your grass, hire a landscape company to mow your grass, and then you can focus
Yeah.
on other things. Anybody can learn how to do anything, and the example I used in Ignite a couple times is, we could all figure out how to change the transmission on our car if we really wanted to, because that's a good use of our time. Now, if you love working on cars as a hobby, maybe, but hire somebody that knows what they're doing, something that they've mastered, let them do their thing, and then you go out and do the thing that you want to do. Everybody wants to be able to do everything. Like, there's only so many hours in it.
That'll lead into Brian, our next guest that's come to teach on April 23rd is she's teaching leverage.
Really?
And she's done it at family reunion and at, other big events that she's around the country. So she's very good. Very, very good. But yeah, she'll be teaching April 23rd from 11 to 12. Only leverage.
Talking about real quick, the brain dump stuff, like, I've been having to do that this week, but I have to do personal and work. And that fits into my time block, because otherwise I'm trying to focus on my work, big rocks, and my top 20% that I have to get done. And then I'm like, oh, I gotta reorder my dog's medicine. Like, I have to have a personal and work.
I can't imagine
My
having
brain.
young kids doing this. I mean.
Did you see my stories this morning? I'm slowly falling apart.
Actually, I watched it too.
I texted me, are you late? And he said, it's okay.
Yeah,
with a
it's
smiley face.
Yes.
How late you been?
Yes, yes.
So I'm purposeful about breaking through my ceiling of achievement. So all of us have that thought of like, I've done as much as I'll ever be able to do, and I think we need more in this job. Or in this thing. I am willing to be taught. I always pursue learning. I unlimit my thinking and my success. And own it at the end of the day. We're gonna take a couple minutes for this next one here. What 3 things would you like to accomplish in your life? Well, think about the big why going all the way back, if you guys were here when Aaron taught the Age of Financials class in October. Where are things gonna be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? And this could also be what are you accomplishing this week? So take a couple minutes to jot these down. And think about that challenge in the box there. How would you change? What would you do that you are waiting to get done because you think you'll be here forever? Right? Is anybody willing to share anything they put down? Secret.
Might get healthy, double my business, take some vacation.
Anybody else?
One buy a house in Cabo. Like,
Why Cabo?
Like, I was my first trip out the country last year, and I lived there,
Yes,
so
I'm
I
not sure you
could
did.
be awesome if I could go whenever, and then while I'm out there, Airbnb it or rent it out, so I should use something, that's what I want to put in.
When do you want to do it?
As soon as I can, but if I was to be realistic, let's just say the next, I don't know, 5 years, or something like that.
Wouldn't be the same advice that, these are great, but start adding some timelines. When do we want to be healthy by, and what does that look like? Anybody else? Jesse? Oh, Jesse.
And they said next week.
I just put earn enough for my wife to be able to stay home and not work.
Do you know what that number is without saying it out loud? If you don't want to,
I know about what it is.
I can have a call.
Oh, man. Maybe retirement.
Stacy?
I said, live mortgage free. I'd also like to have a couple of rental properties in a couple different states, places I want to visit in vacation. And then send my daughter to college.
Sounds like you two need to talk about holding each other accountable. Places in different countries.
Yeah.
I put vacation.
Or
I put have a team because I want to teach and train with Keller. Like, I want to travel, I want to do all those things with my boys are at the age, they're starting to kind of have their own lives, you know? And so I know that I have a lot to do before then, but that's like the big goal. And then be able to vacation every other month, preferably in a vacation home that, you know, is somewhat residual income or passive income. Then just be a great mom, because I don't want to do anything else. That's how I feel. They're a good mom.
Me, if you on vacation every month, talk to Tiffany, she's got that planned
I
down.
know, I'm not gonna be on my. I almost
Make
every
a self-
month.
WRG vacation.
Yeah, that's right. So.
Promote your vacation places for people off.
Seriously, we can all just like rotate.
Right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, to fulfill my purpose, God given purpose, pay for my grandkids for college. I only have 2. I don't want any more right now. 2. And then retire my husband.
When do you want to retire?
Exactly, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna quit every day.
I mean, I'm gonna-
So really it's on him.
It's on him, yeah, it's on him, yeah.
All right, so now we're getting back into this, so do a reality check. And we won't go around the room for this one, but we already know what your goals are. Start thinking about how you're doing. How do you feel about setting these goals?
Not very good.
What's your future if you don't? So somebody brought up retirement. So if we don't start working towards that, and there's nothing there for retirement.
I think there's two types of people with that
That's just
question,
like
like,
your social
you can
security.
either think, what are you missing out on? Or, and you might be motivated by that, like I know Caleb said to me before, that's what motivates him, is like, if I don't make these calls, then what is in it if I don't have that? Whereas for me, it's like, what am I gaining if I have that? Like, if I have a retirement fund all set up, that's not just John's, do we get to take more trips, do we get to do more things for our grandkids? Like, so figure out which way motivates you more, is it what you're missing out on, or what it's providing maybe?
Thank you, man.
Yeah. Mhm.
You have to register. Definitely to register.
Now getting into the 6 personal perspectives. Who's got self-mastery?
Self-mastery, Lauren, I
I
think.
do,
Lauren leads off.
okay.
So when you think about self-mastery, it's the possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you. And here's the 3 things. Know your goals, know your strengths, your weaknesses.
Yeah, click one more time.
And know how to work with both your strengths and weaknesses to reach your goals, because to Lauren's point just a minute ago. Don't always think about just the positive, like. Think about what if this does not happen, what does that mean? I'll let you take it from here.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna go to page 19 and do kind of the puzzles, and this is like, if you're a visual person, maybe this is help visually. You can use page 18 to kind of sketch it out if you want to, but maybe take one of those 3 goals, and then find something tangible you can do with it, okay? So our goals are really big right now, so let's get really, really small. So, okay, for example, they gave the goal of master prospecting. So I do think that all of our goals are somewhat business related, right? Like, we want to do more business so that we can accomplish a lot of the goals that we've listed, right? So, your goal might be, have a stellar listing marketing plan. So like, every time you have a listing, you've got A, B, C, D that you do every single time, every single listing. That might be your goal. Master prospecting, that could look like being very specific about your DTD2. Like, who are you reaching out to on a quarterly basis? How are you breaking that up? What time of day are you doing that? So I'll give you a few seconds to go ahead and kind of pick a goal that's somewhat tangible. And then write that down off to the side. Other things would be, I'll just spit out examples and maybe help thinking of it.
Mhm.
Other things would be, time block 1 week. Okay, do a generic 1 week time block. That might be a goal that you can do that's pretty tangible. And the overall picture of doing this is, in my opinion, practicing towards self-mastery. So if you're doing these things over and over, where you're picking your goal and then you're following the, like, this outline of making your goal happen, and you're doing that over and over again, you're working towards self-mastery. Because I think self-mastery really truly is knowing what you want and then making it happen, and then that's your new go-to. Like, that's where you're at, you've mastered that area. But it all starts with you and what you wanna do. So does anyone have a goal in mind that they picture their first puzzle piece? They wanna say?
I mean, I really like the DTD too. So I know for myself, like when I start getting busy, that starts falling, you know? And obviously even reaching out sphere, like that's such an easy thing to do. So just keeping that goal in mind, you know, I think that would be really helpful. At
Yeah.
least on my end.
Well, that's really.
What
like-
is DTD2?
I was just gonna, I'm sitting here, and I'm like, I wonder if the justice knows. Do you know what it stands for?
I can't remember what it stands
It's
for.
database, touch,
Let me look at it. I can't
daily,
remember what
I
it.
don't know. I mean, but it's
Pretty good.
basically,
It's in the
It's in the, like, the
Mhm.
Keller Williams sphere of.
It's a systematic way to keep up
Yeah.
with everybody in your data.
So literally what it is there's 13 weeks to every quarter and
Mhm.
you're taking 2 letters from the alphabet for every week. And you're contacting those people every week. So at the end of the year, you contacted your sphere, your database, whomever, at least 4 times. But the goal with DTD2 is that it's personal.
Mhm.
So you can figure out what that looks like, but, like the OG, as you call them, that's the OG. Now they have a plan for call and text.
Mhm.
I'll be really honest, I probably text them 75% of the time, but there's people I
Yeah.
don't always call, because I know they'll always enjoy the phone call. They're usually over the age of.
50.
Okay, Okay, so DTD2, what?
Do the database too.
Do the database.
Do the database too.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, so if your goal is DTD2, the next step is to identify your strength and weakness. So Stacy, I'm just gonna pick on you
Sure,
and
yeah.
like keep running with that example.
Mhm.
But exactly as they say, and DTD2 would be considered prospecting, in my
Mhm,
opinion,
mhm.
right? You're good with people, like,
Mhm.
that's how I feel too, like, I can talk to somebody and feel very comfortable with it.
Sure.
Your weakness is maybe getting to the point where you're bringing up business or bringing up work,
Mhm.
or, you know, I don't believe every phone call you have to ask for a business or ask for a referral, I think it can be very off-putting.
Mhm.
However, you just have to be comfortable talking about your business,
Mhm.
if the conversation leads to that. I usually try to throw something in that's like, yeah, I actually just had a showing the other night, and you would not believe their
Mhm.
yard, it was so beautiful, the landscaping was all
Mhm.
done, like, or whatever, you know, it's just bringing up business in that way too. So when you have your goal, figure out your strength and figure out your weakness, it's just like what we said earlier, what's the negative and what's the positive to that goal? And then once you're aware of the 3 pieces, you can create a plan to master the prospecting. So with the example of DTD2 or anything that we have to schedule, time block, and your time block can literally be, where is my half hour every day of the week that I'm going to focus on DTD2?
Mhm.
And that's a time, that's building your time block, okay? Your time block does not have to be, like, don't have analysis paralysis. It does not have to be, okay, here's my entire 40-hour week and then my entire time at home and my entire weekend. Like, that's what kept me from doing it for so long, right? It starts with just putting in the blocks that you know you can accomplish and get done, and then add to that over time. Another plan would be get into command and tag your contacts with the 2 letters that they are in your DTD2.
Mhm.
So I'm Lauren South, so mine is gonna be S and T or whatever it is, I don't remember off the top of my head. I don't remember. So when I am sitting down and I know, okay, today is, or this week is S and T week, I can go into command and just search that tag,
Mhm.
and I automatically have all my S people and all my T people. I can do it through the app, so I can just call or text right from my app, and it automatically tracks that activity, so that I'm not double dipping and going into command and tracking that I reached out to them. But that's something else to do, is just the tags. Can anybody think of a third, or Stacy, a third part of your plan
Mhm.
to be more successful with DTD2?
Well, I know for me, like, I put time blocks in, but then I don't always execute that time. So I don't have a good answer for that, because that's
Yeah.
something I struggle with.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
No, that's okay, I've been on the spot too. I would say just have your go-to conversation piece. So if we're talking DTD2, and we've got our 3 things that are helping us plan to make it happen, what's gonna be your go-to topic? Is it, hey, I've got a really great landscaper, I know it's springtime, if this is something you'd help with, I love the business so much, I wanted to pass it on to you. When I'm doing my DTD2, I'm doing 2 calls that are like conversational, like, hey, I'm just checking in, how are you? And I'm doing 2 texts that provide value, and that's my quarterly. So that way I'd love to grow that, I'd love to do calls or texts every time, but I just, again, had to bring it down to where it felt like tangible and comfortable for me.
Mhm.
So that would be a third piece of the plan, I would say, is just know what you're gonna say. I'm not talking a script, like, I'm not great at scripts, I'd love to be. And I will be someday, but just know,
Mhm.
as soon as it starts to get silent, what are you gonna say? What are
Have a
you-
topic. Mhm.
So that being said, I kind of just, I guess there's a partner exercise that we're supposed to do that I forgot about, so we kind of just all did that together. But let's go to page 21 and at least look at it, so maybe if you've had some thoughts, we can take the time to put those down here. So on page 13, if you wrote down your goal, yeah, page 13, when we wrote down our 3 goals, list 3 obstacles you think that might hinder your success. So let's actually go ahead and partner up for this, because this is not what we did. So, if you just wanna like partner up with somebody who's next to you, and then consult and discuss with your partner so that you're really sure to dig deep. It's not always the most obvious, choice. So pick one of your goals that you wrote down and list the 3 obstacles that you think are gonna hinder your success. Okay. We'll do, I'll set a timer for like 6 minutes. It says 10. I don't know that we need that long, but go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, and 4 on pages 21 and 23, and then we'll do aha together after. Is that good? Any questions? Okay, so we did a video, and while it's playing, on page 25, we're just gonna write down like our ahas. What was your aha from your conversation with your partner? An aha from this video, it's like, I think 3.5 minutes long when I watched it. And it's one of the, I'll just say top dogs at KWU, who has a pretty cool story. So, while you're watching this, look at page 25 and just jot down any ahas that you've had.
Did you teach mine?
Right.
My name is Mike White. I've been with Keller since 2011. Been a realtor for 23 years. I'm here to speak about committing to self-mastery. You know, when you think about self-mastery, it's one of those things that, you know, reminds me of watching basketball. And, you know, you see these professional players and they shoot 3-pointers like it's nothing. And you think, oh, that's easy. But when you figure out behind the scenes, they're practicing shooting thousands of shots every day, even on weekends. And then you start to figure, you know, you do that every day, every month, every year, and you continue to do it. And you start saying, wow, why are they so good? Well, they're good because they practice and they continue to have habits around it. And they eventually master it. And I think about Steph Curry, that he's shot so many 3-pointers that it would take someone almost 7 years to catch up to the amount of 3-pointers he shot over his course of his career. So that's, to me, that's really self-mastery. That brings me to my story. I was a New Jersey State Trooper for 17 years, a dual career builder as well, did both at the same time for a lot of years. And I always struggled hiring admins. And I was like, why am I continuing to struggle? And I would get a resume and look at it and say, I got a gut, I think they're gonna be good. And over, I kept failing at hiring an admin. And when I came to Keller Williams, they had this process called, well, at the time, it was Recruit Select, which I never really got into that much. But then when career visioning came, I started to really kind of like get into it, teach it, understand it. And I was able to participate in the trainer for career visioning. So I was going to be one of the facilitators for career visioning. So it kind of forced me to kind of get into career visioning and to learn what it's about. And I really got attracted to the systematic approach to hiring because I never did it before. I was just hiring by resumes and gut. And as I started to teach it, I started to learn it more. And then I actually went and watched other people present it. And I was like, wow, if I really can nail this, I could probably really get good at not making hires. And then if you listen to what Gary said, you know, your first 5 hires, how important they are to the success of your organization. And then, you know, who you get in business with matters. So if I can nail this, you know, I really can have a big life. So I started to really study it, practice it, and from administrative hires to regional directors now that I've been hiring, I've been able to really, I would say master it by continually practicing it, doing it by myself, doing it with friends, doing it with my wife. And eventually it got to the point where I didn't need to even look at the manual. I was just doing it from being able to, because I practiced it so much. So if you think about your career, you know, what is it that you can do that actually allows you to be really good at what you do, whether it be lead gen or to be networking? You know, what strengths help you and what weaknesses kind of hold you back from being really good at it? Because I know for me, my weaknesses was I thought I can just hire with my gut. And that really wasn't the case, right? I actually needed a systematic approach to actually make the hire. So being consistent and learning how to do career visioning for me really allowed me to be really successful in my business. So here's what I would suggest for you, my recommendation if you want to really get good at self-mastery, right? Think about your strengths, think about your weaknesses. What is it that you do really well? Where is it that you maybe fall a little short? And maybe to start to really practice it, have accountability around it. You're already taking the first step. Congratulations. I look forward to seeing you on your path to self-mastery.
Okay, so we're gonna circle, and if you don't have one or don't want to share it, that's fine. You can do like church and you can like tap your neighbor if you want, if you just want to give. But go ahead and share any ahas and that you've had, and Merlin, I'm actually gonna start with you, so I don't have to, okay.
Thanks.
I'll share what you said, that was a aha for me. She said comparison, because everyone's unique, and that hit home for me this year, because who actually has the exact same life that I have, that I can actually compare myself to, and it be accurate, okay? Like, so I think about my friends, okay, my friend Kristen, she's got 3 kids and a baby on the way, can't compare myself to what the business she's doing on the team, because, and I talked about this with her. Now, I've got another friend, she has 3 kids, and her husband was in real estate for 7 years before she just got her license. I can't compare myself to her. She's got leads from her husband, like she has a different childcare schedule. There is no one who has exactly my circumstances in my life that I can compare myself to, because we're all unique. We all have different circumstances. So stop comparing yourself, like for me, to the 24-year-old who works 100 hours a week and has all the leads in the world coming her way. I can't compare myself to her. Like we're totally unique and we have totally different circumstances. So you said that, and that clicked with me. And then they both said not everyone is systematic. And for me, that stresses me the heck out. Like if I don't have my systems, I'm like, the world is going insane. Whereas for you guys to have all these systems shoved at you feels very stressful to you, right? So my aha with that is like, find someone who is. Like find someone who can do the systematic things for you so that you don't have to, so that you can enjoy playing into your strengths. And that you can not be pushing weaknesses on yourself, right? Because for you, systems would be a weakness, right? It stresses you out.
Yes.
And for me, I need someone who is the creative, who is the free thinker, who can do all the graphics and pretties and marketings, because I'm like, that stuff stresses me out, right? So find someone who fits your weaknesses. Didn't mean to preach, but.
No.
That's really helpful.
No, that's exactly, that was, for me, it's, like she said, for me, a lot of structure is instant anxiety for me. I like some structure and some, but setting like schedules down to that I cannot do. I'm kind of like fly by the seat of my pants person, that's just my personality. But it doesn't mean that I don't need to somehow create some level of, systems. So that was kind of my aha, like get it, I've been here, yeah, I got it. I'm gonna start.
Nancy? So we were talking about, we both like solving problems. So for me, I definitely go to all the problems that I have or people have, and then I'm terrible with systems, which I'm gonna teach about tools, and I actually need them. So that's wow, yeah. I know, I'm so excited. I'm like, apparently KW Connect has tools, so I'll go find it. Anyway, yeah, I'd like to double my business, and we were both talking about, well, her business is my business doubled, so, but how much more business we think we could do? No, we know we could do if we just had somebody to help us with some of the things that we can't get to.
Yeah.
Systems. Yeah, systems. So I really need systems.
Brittany?
I did it.
What you
Okay.
So, me, for us, or for me, it was just, we know what to do, just consistent execution. Piggyback off the system, but consistent. Not just twice a week, once a week, every day. So that's just kind of what we talked about, no procrastination and just consistent execution. That's kind of, what we spoke about here on this.
For me, it was also the systems, and then I also wrote down that, like, I did a mailer, and he was telling me how important it was to like door knock after you do the mailer. And, so nothing comes from inaction was another aha that I put down.
Yeah, and I kind of resonated with what you said, and I kind of had an aha about like, just sometimes it's okay to be content and not, where you are in life, So, yeah.
Sure. That's a good reminder.
It feels like you have to always be reaching further than where you're going or where you are, what I mean? So.
Yeah, I would say I definitely could identify with that. I feel like I have kind of a constant struggle between like wanting to grow my business and do all of the things and wanting to be present and be the best mom ever. So that's like a, you know, a thing all the time. I'm like, okay, I want to do all of this, but then that time takes away from time at home and I only have one and she's only little once.
Yeah.
So that's something that's kind of always there. Mhm.
It's a hard conversation to have with yourself, you know, when you're, like what he was saying, a lot of you mentioned this, like, being able to point out your flaws. That's just a tough conversation. Any last minute thoughts before we move on to step 2?
Good stuff.
Brittany.
Okay. So the 80-20 principle basically talks about how you need to focus on like that. 20% of your effort produces 80% of your results. I'm definitely one of those that makes the list and does not, does not.
It's all right. That's true.
But one thing where this does actually resonate with me is I think that it truly is a habit, to do what brings me the most success every day. Like, I don't plan for that. It's just, I do it. At first, looking through this, I'm like, I don't believe it. But I do, just naturally.
What is it? You said you do it. What do you do? That is the.
I think I've always focused on like the money-making activities of the business daily, which is why I struggle with like the system, but the talking to people,
Relationships.
yeah.
So can I challenge that? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Do you mind being challenged? So I think that the money-making abilities and money-making activities are the systems and time blocking that you put in place. Because money-making is not only going after the next deal, it's also the time you take to yourself, the time you take to your family, because if you don't take that time to reset and recharge every day, you're gonna burn yourself out quick.
Yeah.
So, and that's why and I'm challenging you two on this also, and myself, because I have a similar mindset, is that if you don't schedule and have a system around what you need to do on a daily basis, you'll forget 2 or 3 things that you need to do and they just get lost in the wash. Does that make sense? But if you know that, example, from 8 to 10 o'clock, I'm doing whatever lead gen I need to do today. From 10 to 12 o'clock, I'm catching up on old business. From 12 to 1, I'm eating lunch. From 1 to 7, I'm setting my appointments. If you're even that vague, now I've got control of my time. But you know, like, because I've gone through Lauren's time block with her time block's different because she's got different childcare issues and there's different things. So you would, as I told her, you set your family time first. You do a time block, but your family time is first. And then you pivot off that. Does that make sense, Brittany?
Oh, yeah, no, if I could time block
You
and,
can't.
well, if I did, but when I do.
But I think what she's saying is probably it's seeing it on paper
Uh-huh.
is what makes us go, but we're really doing it. Like in the morning, I have a set schedule. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, but it's not.
And then you post
And
your
I
coffee
post my
pic.
Facebook.
You post your coffee pic.
And I have a set schedule. I do the same thing every day.
Mhm.
So technically I do,
Mhm.
but I think the anxiety is for me seeing it. That's what I do. I have a set schedule. Like she said, it's natural. You do it. You do the things. It's just not all written out. So that's interesting because what you said is so true. Like I literally am on a schedule. I do the same thing every day. I do the things to make the money or the relationship things. I reach out, I do my likes and comments but it's just not written down. So it's something in me.
Mhm.
Maybe it's the rebel in me.
It's a box.
It's the box,
box,
and I don't
right?
like that. Yeah, I don't like the box. I don't like, yeah.
There's
There's a line and I'm stepping over, but that's just who I am.
For you.
Yeah,
But
Well,
like
like she
me,
said,
I'll
for her.
forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna post every day.
Yeah.
I go weeks. Forget about that.
And that's what happens, because it's something, like, let's say you're doing your Legion in the morning, for example, and somebody calls you.
Mhm.
Do you answer that call?
I do.
You should not do that.
Right?
If it's that- Well, I mean, if it's like a family emergency thing, something, yeah, I answer it, but otherwise, like, even if I'm doing my Legion and I called Nancy for a Legion call and she didn't answer, if she calls me back during my Legion time, I'm not answering that phone call
Why not?
because I'm doing my Legion,
Thought you called me for Legion.
but you're calling me back, so now I have to call you back on the follow-up.
Yes, see, in my mind.
I don't
Yeah.
receive, but during my Legion time, I do not receive any calls. I do not receive any texts. If my wife calls me during, when I'm, calling other agents in here and talking to them, I do not answer that call. If she knows that I won't. She knows if it's an emergency, she'll text me 911 and then I'll say, I gotta call my wife. But she'll just call me and tell me she's coming home from the barn, so, which is great.
Yeah.
But if I'm in my time, that's what I'm doing. And when I was more fly by the seat of my pants, which I still am to a certain extent, I would answer that call and then my Legion was done.
Mhm.
Does that make sense? Because now I'm on that call, now I've got to get back in the mode of Legion, so I'm done for the day.
So, okay, so,
We can talk about this,
Okay.
because we're.
The first part of this conversation, so she's your client or potential client. So you're in your Legion time, you call
Right,
her, she doesn't answer, she calls you back, you don't answer.
I don't answer. I call her back in my follow-up time, which is 30 minutes back.
that's your follow up.
Yeah.
You got it. You got it.
Hey, they don't know.
No.
They don't know.
It's not a demotion because fortune's in the follow-up. You just have to do it on your time.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Fortune's in the follow-up, yeah.
We got the video for this section, so I get that queued up. There's a excerpt from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book on page 27. And then we'll queue up the video and then Brittany can take it from there.
Seeing everybody get coffee.
Oh, I just finished off the pot, I'm sorry, I didn't even, I'll add, I think you can make more.
They'll make it.
Oh, okay.
80-20 principle is fun to play with, because like I told Brittany at family reunion, I said, because like you look at your closet, you wear 20% of your closet 80% of the time. Yeah. Me, I have like 6 things I wear.
I like clean mine all the time because I know that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Dupree, and I've been with Keller Williams since 2019, and I've been in the real estate industry my entire life. And I'm so excited that you're here today to learn about one of my favorite perspectives, that 80-20. This is one of my favorite perspectives out of the 6 perspectives, because it basically helps you as an agent, as a leader, move from where you are to where you want to be faster, to collapse those time frames down. What it basically says is that 20% of your activities are going to generate 80% of your results. I've lived by this perspective since I was a kid. I grew up playing basketball. In fact, I was horrible at basketball 6th and 7th grade. I made a decision I wanted to be good, and I got the Pete Maravich Pistol Pete basketball tapes. And every morning I would do my dribbling drills, I would do my passing drills, defense drills, the skills to help me become a better player. I'd shoot 1,000 shots every single day, 500 free throws every single day. And from my 7th grade to my 8th grade year, I became a much better player. My 8th grade year to my freshman year, I became a starter on the varsity team. Then I started thinking about playing at the collegiate level. And I knew that I wasn't the most talented player, but if I wanted to have the opportunity to play at the collegiate level, I had to really hone in on what were the things that mattered most to help me become a better player. And it was mastering the fundamentals, doing the drills over and over and over and over again until I mastered it. Then I got into the real estate business. My mother's been an agent for 52 years, and she taught me, Jonathan, if you focus on listings, you will make more money than other agents who focus solely on buyers. So I made the bulk of my activity to generate leads to get listings. And as a result, I was able to build a successful real estate career. You know, I remember as a new teenager walking through our market center, and I saw one of our agents who was newer, and they were working so hard at creating all these forms. And I stopped and I said, what do you do? He said, I'm making all these forms that will help me with my clients. I told him those forms already existed and he was wasting his time on the 80% activities that generated 20% of his results. I'll never forget when he finally realized he needed to spend his time devoted to lead generating, to get listings, to write contracts, to close deals so that he could make money. He finally understood about prioritizing his business and focusing on what matters most so that he could end up building the life that he desired and that he deserved. And he still brings that conversation up. That was a shift for him when he realized he was avoiding doing what he knew he should do most to grow his business, so that he still though felt productive by creating those forms. See, as an agent, or you look at it as a leader, anywhere in your life, you have to determine what are the levers that I can pull that will help me collapse the timeframes and get the results that I desire. Those 20% activities, gaining clarity to what matters most for you in your business. And in real estate, we know is lead generate, to get appointments, to get listings, to have a right contract, to have closings, to make money. I'm so excited that you're about to learn about this perspective. I can't wait till you implement it. And one thing I want to leave you with is the speed of growth in your business will always be determined by the speed of implementation. How quickly you take these perspectives that you're learning about today and apply them to your personal life and to your business. I can't wait to see how far you go and how much you grow by implementing these perspectives and strategies into your business and your personal life. So let's get ready to learn.
Actually met that guy, mega leadership camp one. Yeah. He said at the table with us. He's a regional director in Utah. Jesse, to say I'm taking it all?
Yeah, she may do it back there.
Oh.
All you?
Okay. Wait, am I supposed to go over this kind of this story or?
Do what you
Leave this
want.
up
Do-
to however you want to go.
You do you, yeah.
I mean, it is a cool story, but, so I don't know, has everyone heard about filling the jar with the big rocks? The jar looks full, but it's not. All right, then I'm gonna.
It's that video. Hang on, Brittany, I got you, I think. Hold on.
And I'm on now, it's a jar full now. Now, I want you to recognize this jar represents your life. Golf balls, the important things, your family, friends, your health, and your passions. The pebbles are the other important things, your car, your job, your home. Stand with everything else, it's just a small stuff. Put the stand in the jar first, you won't have room for the pebbles. Same is true in life. You spend all your energy and your time on the small stuff. You won't have time for all the really important things that matter. Pay attention to the things that are critical to your happiness. Take care of the golf balls first, the really important things. Set your priorities. Because everything else is.
Love that. That's so good.
Mhm.
That's so good.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so you have to identify what your big rocks are. So do those first.
Well, not always.
Do they have to be, I was gonna say, do they have to be money making?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it just
Yeah.
would go in line with what your goals are.
Yeah.
So no,
Yeah.
I mean,
Love. Peace.
It's almost like the things that make life worth living, have someone for you, like,
Yeah.
no, that is sand.
Right.
Sand is more than seems really boring, yes, that's how many life you. Big thing, yeah. Who does your lunch for this?
But I like too, Jesse, what you said, like, to some people, money is everything, but it means nothing if you don't have your health. If you don't have, I think about Steve Jobs, everybody read his whole story and how he had all of the things and he had all the money, you know, but when he was diagnosed with cancer, none of that stuff mattered. The money didn't matter, you know, and so as I know this is all business focused, But at the end of the, well, somewhat, in regards to.
Yeah, I understand, but
But,
your family and your
Yes.
life is part of your business, because
Absolutely.
if you're not happy out here,
Yeah.
if you're not happy in your family, you're not gonna
Right,
be happy in your
yeah.
business.
so as we talk about God, family, and business, which was one of the main reasons why I wanted to join Keller Williams, that we also have to keep the main thing, and what really matters most, so.
And that shows up in
That's
you.
so good.
And you telling us to do our family time first, like
Yeah.
prioritize, you say time block your family time first, what you really mean is prioritize your family time,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like that comes first for your, you know, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, well, like Stacy said, you never get your kid back from being a kid.
Mhm.
Even if you have another child,
Mhm.
you know, you don't wanna miss.
So true.
I
Yeah,
feel like if you get your business going and you get your systems going to where it's going and you've got help and support and
mhm.
in my mind, that's what I'm focusing on doing so that I am able to do the other things I want to do. I mean, I know I can't ignore my family, or shall I say my husband? He won't let me anyway.
I struggle because when I've been in real estate for 12 years. So when I was first in real estate, I had no kids. I'm like, I just do whatever I want, whenever I want, spend as much time. And then I had 2 little kids, and now like, that's where I want to spend the most of my time. So it's really hard figuring out that balance and what works for me and my family, you know, so.
We talked a little bit about this at family reunion, about it's not bad to have your children see you work,
Mhm.
because it's good to set, you know, it's
Mhm.
okay to be a mom, it's okay to be a dad,
Mhm.
and it's okay to have a career, and it's okay to teach them those boundaries.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you're with your family, you have to have boundaries around that and not bleed work into it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think that even makes more sense, you know, listening to both of you. It's even more important to have systems and schedules so that if it's, you know, the first 4 hours of the day that you're doing all those things, so that it could be, actually, at family reunion, the very first panel I went to, there was just one girl who I loved, and it was the first 9 months, her business was crazy, and she just, but she put together a whole system. She's still a solo agent, but she has 5 people on her team. Like, one is a showing agent, not a buyer's agent. But in like the one girl that's on her team that is kind of, I don't know what she'd be considered, like she's always telling her, stay in your lane, like. Yeah, like the head assistant, she's always telling, you know, then
The
this
director
girl
of
had
operations.
5 different things, and that's all she did.
Mhm.
And she didn't do so many of the other,
Mhm.
you know, sand things,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, that reminded me of the lady I saw at family reunion a couple of years ago that, I might have told some of you about her. She averaged 1.5 closings a day as a solo agent in Los Angeles. She went to every closing and every showing and every buyer's appointment and every selling appointment.
But she wasn't showing houses for sure,
Not full time. She had 7 admin
yeah.
that helped her out. And each admin, and she said when she started, she had a small office, so sometimes her admin would be sitting out in the hall and they'd be doing work, trying to get everything together, and each of them had their lane. And she really didn't do any of the back end stuff. Everything she did was face-to-face stuff. But could you imagine 1.5 closings a day? And that's on a 5-day week, not a 7-day week.
This girl said that she did the buyer's presentation, and she did it online, or she did it in Zoom. She never showed a house, and she drew with a closing, but she had showing agents. I just feel like working with buyers is really time consuming.
Mhm.
I know.
But go back to that training we did, where it's like if they're showing or sending you houses that don't meet the criteria. You have to-
I've got 2 people, and they keep sending me, and I'm like, no, this doesn't have 2 bathrooms. Well, I really want to see it, because you know, if I really like it, they don't.
Yes.
Say Rocky up in South Bend.
Yeah, I was just thinking about Rocky,
He's
and his,
really good at it.
Speaking of that,
Mhm.
we teach a class on that. Can we get him down here to
he
teach
has
a
an
class?
awesome
Yeah,
template
might have to
that
find
he gave me a
mistake, but I'll get
copy
it down
of.
here.
It is amazing. It is like,
Yeah.
it gets so honed in about, so he has like a buyer's template that he sends to all of his buyers. Yeah, I mean, I can send it to you guys. He sent it to me. I mean,
But
and
it's like,
it has helped me so many
if his buyer
times.
send him a list of 10,
Mhm.
he'll send them we're going to see this one and this one, those other 8, we're not even gonna go look at, I didn't set it up, we're not doing it. Like, wow,
And,
what
yeah.
like you said, well, we wanted 2 bathrooms,
Mhm.
and it's only got 1.5,
Mhm.
or you wanted
Mhm.
the master on the main, and this master's up, if you don't want it, you think you want it because the house looks pretty, but you don't want the house, it's
Mhm.
like, it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he's super strict about it, and if they won't meet his criteria, he
Mhm.
fires them.
Yeah.
And he's super successful.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah,
like-
it sounds like clients don't leave him. I mean, because I think too, he gets so honed in on exactly what they want. Like, they feel like he knows them so well. Like, oh, I didn't even realize this didn't have 2 full baths, like, so,
Yeah.
yeah, I think
And
that.
that's where the buyer's consultation needs to be
Mhm.
really more than just, I want a 3-bedroom house, you gotta learn who you're
Well,
dealing
we definitely look at a house and I'm like, oh no, like this is in litigation and
with.
we don't want this. And some, yeah, I'd love to have that. I do have a quick question, kind of related. So we have to have the buyer's agreement signed, but let's say I'm on vacation and I'm having somebody else show the house. Can that other agent can't even show the house for me without?
Or as of July 1st, that
They
is
can't
correct.
show it?
No, a house can't be shown unless there's a buyer's agency agreement
But
in
if they
place.
have a buyer's agency agreement with me.
That's it, yeah, then
but
if
I
somebody
have
else is
Tiffany
acting on
show
your
for
behalf,
me,
because they're acting on your behalf.
Okay, then that's. okay.
That's not Tiffany's
Okay.
client,
Okay,
Tiffany's
that-
acting on your
okay, that
behalf.
makes-
Yeah.
All right,
That's good.
Okay, so I guess now we can go to the exercise. And back to, so not just the money for using activities being your big rocks, but taking the goal you wanna focus on in step 1, and then listing out anything that you can do to make that goal happen. And then after that, break it down to 1 that you think will have the most impact. Did you guys think it was easy to weed out or weed through the to-do list,
No, I thought everything felt,
like something you need to be doing?
yeah.
Did you pick one that you felt was the most important?
I could. Creating a schedule or time blocking would be probably the most beneficial.
I was surprised how easy it was. Like, oh, I guess I know what I need to do.
I thought the same thing. I was like, wow, yeah.
Nope, I just stopped right there.
So then you wanna identify which ones you think would be the most beneficial.
Oh. Leverage.
Okay, so you're all the way to step 4, that's your number 1.
Stop doing so much.
Amazing how much time we find when you follow a little bit of schedule.
Does anyone wanna share this?
I mean, mine's literally just time blocking for lead gen, like specific DTD too. So like when I'm following up on leads, that's pretty easy when I'm working with someone, but actually taking that time. I touch my close sphere often, that's pretty easy, but actually setting that time, like just by doing that, we know that I have a ton of businesses just sitting there. So, yeah,
Your
Just doing
spirit's the
things.
comfortable spot.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So.
Mhm.
he's
They already
hitting
know,
up
like,
the
and trust you.
DTD, by the way,
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
you guys can see what that looks like.
Yeah.
like it seems so simple. Why is it so
That's
hard?
so-
Yeah, why is this?
So true.
Why?
Yeah, it's so true.
There's just always a million things, pulling you, and it's something that I've never had until being in this career, like, so,
But think about the successes you had by reaching outside of your sphere.
yeah,
So granted, the deal's not gonna come together,
Mhm.
at least right now.
yeah,
But it started 3 new conversations.
it did. And she
You know
just
what I
called
mean?
me back, yeah.
So by that little step out of your comfort zone.
Yep,
Can have that kind of effect.
yep, it's true. Mhm.
And save me from driving to Warsaw.
Yes, and I did ask for an opportunity to earn her business at the end, and I would not have done that had we not had that conversation, so. I thought she was calling me back to tell me, yeah, I want to list it, but unfortunately.
I like to tell a story on that. I had an agent back home, she was a good agent. Yeah, she probably did $5-7 million,
Mhm.
but she never could get over that. But she was a great event person, right? So she had movie nights, she had puppies in the park days, she had all kinds of stuff. never one person did she ask for business that came to any of her events.
Oh, mhm.
And
I could see me doing
she
that.
had 75 people come to movie night.
Uh,
She gives them flyers, information about her. And then she said, at the team meeting a couple weeks later, that 2 of those people listed with other agents that were in her movie
They're
night.
on her list, right?
Yeah.
Uninvited.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
The most-
yeah, take them off the list, but if you're not,
Yeah.
you know, at the end of the day, relationship building's great.
Gotta ask for business.
You don't get anything you don't ask for, right?
Mhm, it's true.
I think that's like a limiting belief we all struggle with at
Yeah.
some point, like you almost feel like you're like,
Salesperson.
Yeah.
yeah, or
Mhm.
they're gonna think you're using that.
Mhm,
Oh,
right.
They're just calling me to ask for business.
Mhm, yeah.
So that's always at the forefront of my mind. That's still, it's still hard for me to
Okay.
ask.
And it's good.
Good to
you
know that's
call-
gonna be there.
you can Call and say
Yeah.
like, you know, hey, how's it going? How's the
Mhm.
family? Cause
Moving
of course we
forward.
stalk everybody on Facebook. You
Mhm.
can look on Facebook, I just went on a trip. How was,
Mhm.
you know, Puerto Rico, yada, yada, yada. About that time the conversation's over, it's just, hey, don't forget I'm in real estate. If you ever need anything, let me know. Okay, thanks.
And I think a lot of people
That's so easy.
actually don't
Okay.
realize how we work.
I agree, yeah.
And that's okay.
I think closing is the best time to ask. It's kind of the easiest.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and just gonna say like,
I've
hey,
been out to
you
eat
know,
with you and you like give your card to the person and you're really good at it.
sometimes, it depends on where my mind is.
Mhm,
So
Yeah.
there's times where I'm like, yeah, I want them to be able to work with me so that they have a great opportunity and have someone that truly helps them, and then other times I'm.
No, it's good. That's what you just have.
Yeah.
mhm.
Okay, and then the next is creating a checklist that helps you achieve those goals with the top 20% of things you need to be doing in mind, and breaking it down into monthly, yearly goals, and not so much that to-do list.
And here's the formula, one that helps with that. Gives you that good visual. What we're
I used to do this
talking
every
about.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to do it every month. I had the template on my computer and every month I just go back to where it was.
You should be really doing it every week though, because you should
Yeah.
be looking at what your goals are every week.
Well, I would
Gives
do
you
it every
quick
month and
enough.
then it had the weekly.
So
It
it's
has
have
on
to look at it weekly, you just sit
Well,
right.
This
You
really,
plan the week ahead, so like.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah.
week one, you would start at the beginning of week one, these are my goals this week
Yeah.
to chip away at that 1 month goal. And
Yeah.
beginning of week two, same thing. Because if you fall short in week one, you want to be able to account for that in week two.
I thought it was really cool because it talked about, you know, when you looked at how many homes you need to sell to get to your goal. I mean, it really made me realize, if I have to take one listing appointment a week, which doesn't seem that hard, you know?
I'm like.
But, you know
Uh-huh.
what I mean, to try.
Well, yeah, having a goal.
Every week, it's
Mhm.
not like, yeah, you know.
Mhm.
So one thing I've been teaching and coaching that kind of along those lines is, because you hear so many different numbers, have 100 conversations, have
Mhm.
50 of this or 90 of that. I have one unique appointment every week, there's 52, close half those people, there's 26 deals. So if you find and qualify one good person every week,
Mhm.
you could have 26 closing deals.
That's such an
And
awesome goal.
And it, well, it goes back to just a couple slides ago, they're talking about the one thing, right?
Mhm.
And this, what's the one thing, let's find one new person to talk to.
Mhm.
So I like the word you use, qualify them.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
wanna waste your
uh-huh,
time, 'cause
right.
if you're only gonna
Mhm.
have one good meeting a
Yeah.
week, make sure you're not wasting your time on the wrong appointment.
That's been
Yeah.
helpful,
Yeah.
definitely being in coaching. I know you've said multiple times, like, protect your time. There's been times where I'm like, trying to work with a seller to get them there. And it's like, okay, do I just go over again and we do the same thing again? And it's like, well, hey, maybe we shoot a text message or a phone, like, protect your time, because if that person's not ready, like, why are you taking some time out of your schedule? Like, So that's been helpful just to remember that, like, my time is very valuable. So I'm gonna spend it with the people who are most motivated.
Yeah. I like that.
Mhm.
And we just did, you and I just did that economic model, if you don't mind me sharing.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we did, she had a goal, for example, to profit. Not GCI, profit. You all know I like to talk profit. I like to talk profit. GCI. How much
Yeah.
money you make, not how much, you know, the GCI is pretty, but if you spend it all,
Doesn't
mean
matter.
anything, right?
Mhm.
To profit $100,000 in Stacy's mind,
Mhm.
she wants to get 4 new appointments a month.
Mhm.
And
One a
that's
week.
2 listing and 2 buying.
Mhm.
And just doing that, but what we also realize is that it factors in the fall off. Like if you have that appointment that doesn't sign with you, and then you have that listing contract that falls through for whatever reason they're expired. You've got that built into your plan. We've got the expenses built into the plan. We've got the cost of sale built into the plan. So she knows if she does that, she will put in her pocket
Mhm.
$100,000 in
That's,
a year.
that's been really helpful,
Mhm.
especially because, you know, deals fall apart all the time, but just
Yeah.
having that, like, that's okay. That's part of the plan. I know
Yeah.
that.
You
But I just
focus
need
on
to
the
have more
process.
conversations,
Right.
just need to get out there more because the more I do that, the more I'll close. And
Yeah.
So, yeah, that has been
It's
helpful.
focusing on the process and not
Not
result.
this person, this person.
Right.
Mhm.
But yeah, thank you for letting me share that. So if anybody wants to go through an economic model for your
Mhm.
thoughts, what you want to earn profit wise, let me know and won't take very long at all.
Like later, you mean?
Not right now. Well, I'm gonna do it after this class if you want to. I can put it on the big screen. We can do it for everybody. I'll show you what mine is.
Right.
I'd say just pull this section out of your packet as like a to-do for later, like pull out the 3 pages on so and then the one I gave us. That's what I'm doing. Because I know I'll never go back to this packet, but if I pull this out. then again-
Well, knowing yourself, right? I'm the same way. Yeah.
I keep it
Yep.
forever and never.
Mhm.
There's a template on Connect that you can, edit on computer, you can print it or.
Oh,
Page 39 has the URL for that.
Yeah.
On the bottom.
Yeah.
And note that it talks about your personal goals too, so
Mhm.
again, this isn't all about business, what you want to accomplish in life too. Anything else, Brittany?
Well, then it goes over the time blocking.
I think Brittany feels like time blocking is being thrown in her face this morning.
I mean, I definitely need to do it. I think just exactly what Tiffany said. I mean, in a lot of ways, I do, but I guess I need to time block the things I don't naturally do, maybe. Would be the best, but
See, what's fun about it is what Marlene's teaching today is where we all are and what you all are talking about right now. Marlene's segments.
No pressure.
I'm curious, page 45, like, does that feel less overwhelming for people who don't love systems or schedules, like? Does it feel more like, I don't know, task to protect your time versus like actually knocking it out?
I like that, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, I kind of do that when
Yeah.
I'm going to, like, I know, or I am gonna go make calls, or I've gotta go do all the follow-up. I go in my office, on coffee, water, whatever, like, you know, whatever snacks. And my kids know, like, don't come near my office. So for me, it helps me stay in there and focus on what I'm doing.
I'm trying to teach my kids the office rule. I had like an absolute breakdown yesterday. John came home and I'm like on my knees begging Grayson to be quiet when I'm on the phone because it's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
1 minute and then you're like, I cannot talk to me when I'm on the phone.
They
And I can't-
always
I can't
want
hold
to
my
when you're on the
back.
phone.
I feel like I'm like, so we're working. on
That happened
that.
to me the other day
Uh-huh.
with my 7-year-old, like, she's going to bed, I'm like, you're 7, like, you don't quit it. But I had to like reason with her for like 20 minutes before I could return.
Oh, yeah. I called my guy back. I'm like, sorry, I think my kids are occupied. I might have a good 5 to 10 minutes. So here's what I needed to tell you.
I take so many calls in my garage.
Oh.
I
yeah,
walk
you're
out,
holding the door
yeah,
shut
yeah.
in the garage, and you're holding it
Yep.
inside.
like.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad we all have the same lives. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Mhm.
But something I was actually gonna say to you, because it was a good perspective from Danny Lopez, like, he said he like invites his kids to be like a part of his business.
Mhm.
But if it's like a client he knows, they'll answer the phone as his assistant, or he'll let them try and type things, like, just includes them in on it, and his clients see that as well.
Mhm.
For me, that gives me more anxiety, but for people trying to
Mhm.
balance,
Mhm.
you know, a career and being a parent, I would say for the most part, most people aren't gonna be bothered by
Yeah.
your children.
Mhm.
And if they are,
They're really
they're
hard.
probably
Do you-
not inclined to
right.
want your full.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
The best.
Mhm.
opportunity, so.
It's definitely a me thing. I think it's that perfection side of me. It's like, hey, when I'm working, I want to
Working,
be 100%
uh-huh.
real estate. I do
Yeah.
not want to.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
I'm full professional. Yeah, but when I'm mom, I don't want to answer my real estate.
Yeah.
calls or texts.
Uh-huh.
So, and when I do both things all day, I have the worst day.
It's so true.
But then nap time
Mhm.
comes and I'm exhausted and I don't wanna work, you know, so it's like, that's my everyday struggle, is like, okay, when am I gonna do work time? So setting the boundaries with the office is the goal, is to help protect that, okay, I get 1 hour at this time, or half an hour at this time, and that's fine. Versus trying to do both things all day, because that is.
Perfect segue into this right here.
Yeah.
So the fourth. Build a bunker. So that's what you're working on, what a lot of you are working on.
Mhm.
You can store provisions. Water, snacks,
Mhm.
don't leave that space.
Mhm.
Sweep for minds, shut off your emails, put your phone in do not disturb, even turn off the little red dots if you have to.
What are the little red dots?
Right on your phone, like, hey, you got, like, on your text message, little square,
Oh.
they'll have a little
Oh.
red dot that says 7. Because now your mind's gonna go, I wonder what those
Oh,
7
you can
messages
turn
are. A notification, at least on an iPhone.
Yeah.
So on an iPhone, if you go to notifications, you can pick which apps will allow you to see those little red dots, or even show up on your list of notifications. But how many of us were sitting in a meeting out of the corner of our eye, we see text message,
Mhm.
and now our mind's like,
Mhm.
wonder what that is.
Mhm.
Yeah. Deep
So
breath.
those are the buckets. So if you're gonna be dedicating to calling your clients or making prospecting calls,
Mhm.
these are the minds to get rid of. These little notifications that you think are nothing, but they really will distract you if you're not careful. And now all of a sudden, like you said, you're 2 calls in, start working on this message,
Mhm.
your 2 hours go by, and you made 2 calls in that whole 2 hours. That's not okay. Like if your goal is to 2 hours a week, and you get 2 calls in 2 hours,
I got
that's
it
just
turned
not gonna
off
work.
because it's so loud. You want me to turn it back on?
We can put the
That's
little
not
heater
bad.
right there.
Yes.
He's got a little space heater.
Or they should- I always turn it off for class.
Yeah, Isaac knows about that, I think.
It's
Yeah.
locked. Oh, here's the key.
It's the key dangling from it. So. We can turn it on. It's, you're just gonna have to talk really, really loud and really, really listen.
Well, he's got a little space heater. We can put him on. So,
Okay.
and then enlist support. So like you're talking about, you start talking to John about like, hey, you need help. Whatever that needs to be to accommodate these things. And it could be for 10 minutes. I know we keep talking about like 2-hour time blocks. It could be a 10-minute, I need to go make this call. These still apply.
Yeah, I
What
think
can you
it's
do
nice.
to not distract yourself?
Yeah, I go back to friend Leslie, who had guardianship over her daughter. She was 7 years old, and Leslie, her office was just she didn't have a door. Right, archway, but she would hang a red string from her door when she was working, and her granddaughter knew that I don't go in there when when that string's down, he's working. And she would even tell her grandfather, who was starting to head in there, no, he's working, you don't go in there.
That's cool. That is
But
where we look at it.
it takes a minute. You can't do it like one time and then all of a sudden your kids are gonna go, oh, okay, I understand.
Like if you do something like that,
Mhm.
maybe some type of like reward at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you can put Velcro in your closet, give them a Velcro shirt.
I
Or
usually
that.
just do this.
Right?
That's exactly what I do.
Uh-huh, yeah.
They're trying to run away.
I've seen that face.
Yeah.
It still makes me nervous.
Ahas on this section before we move on to step 3. Now we're going to the space heater right here.
Keep telling the kids to stay out of the office.
Hmm.
Eventually they will.
I think it's a hard thing with kids, because kids need consistency too.
Mhm,
And the one time we give in and go, oh, okay,
mhm.
then you start over. And
Mhm.
it's the same with our own mindset. If we give in that one time, oh, it's okay. Yeah, I can have that extra piece of pizza. Oh, and then I want another piece of pizza.
I just took my youngest pacifier away and I always had a peaceful hour and a half to 2 hours every day where I could like get what I needed done because my oldest, she knows that she has to have an hour of just quiet time, period. And she's my easygoing one. But I took his pacifier away and we've like not been sleeping, not been napping.
Mhm.
The whole world.
It's a life changer. But I always think back, going back to the 80-20, I have to remind myself almost daily to focus on my 20%. Because I can get caught in the weeds. Like yesterday, I got caught 30 minutes trying to find Marlene a car. I mean, I love helping Marlene and I should help Marlene.
Yeah.
But you know, it's,
Mhm.
yeah, is it in my 20%? No, but I love helping Marlene, so I didn't mind doing it.
Yeah.
I think that's common because so many of us like helping. That's why we're doing what we do.
Yeah, you're exactly
We're
right.
just
We all
like,
like
we're here
it.
to make money, but, yeah, struggle with that.
We're here
too.
to, we're here to help people. We're here to grow and build and create new relationships.
Mhm,
This is the way I kind of view it.
mhm,
And that's why we have to remember not to forget them after we close.
mhm. Right?
I like leverage, qualify, and bunker.
Yeah,
Yeah, those are good.
Uh-huh.
Mhm,
you can make that a literal bunker. That would be
Mhm.
fun, wouldn't
mhm.
it?
I don't have any little ones bugging me, it's my squirrel.
Yeah.
The little people in your head.
Yeah.
I think I need ice cream. Yeah.
Wait, are we getting ice cream?
That sounds good.
See how easy that was?
Blueberries. Oh. See how we went squirrel that?
It looked hard, didn't it?
Who's got step 3?
E to B.
Okay, so, one thing I wanna do is, everybody in this room identify as an entrepreneur. Do you know what that word means? Do you feel like that you are that person? You are one of those? Yes.
I thought it for a really long time, but yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. So do you guys have the feeling that mindset can only take you so far? Do you believe that?
Let me think.
Like, do you believe, being an entrepreneur, a lot of people are entrepreneurs. A lot of people have tons of ideas, a lot of people start businesses, a lot of us, but do you think that just being that can only take you so far in your business? I don't know, I feel like being an entrepreneur to me is a mindset. Because I am my own boss, I'm responsible for my business,
Mhm,
and the success or failure of that business. So you can't just, yeah. Yeah. Can we go to the page, this slide, please?
mhm,
Thank you. Okay, so, one of the things I want to go around the room real quick and talking about business.
mhm.
Tell me one of your strengths in business, Brian, go. Just one thing that you know you're really good at.
My strengths, I manage so many different things in my business that I have to break down my day.
Okay, then,
Relationship building.
I would say the same thing, like caring, compassion, having those relationships.
And thorough,
the what?
thorough.
Okay,
Execution, I guess.
Talk to strangers, good.
I love to talk to people, relationships, first impressions. Brittany, hey Brittany. Okay, I would say my strongest point is conversion, like, I can see something done before it's done. So in my mind, when I'm sitting down at an appointment or whatever, I already see it there. So my conversion rate's really high. I just need to get more in front of more people.
Mhm.
Because once I'm in front of them, I make it happen.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so I think that, yeah, that's, anyway, okay, so,
Mhm.
Then the other thing I'd like us to do is what is the one thing that you know you're not good at? Brian, go.
Building very, like, telling clients no.
What?
Telling clients no, like,
Telling clients.
you know, so, like, sometimes I let them have way too much of my time.
Ben,
I'd say similar. My problem is not answering the phone or a text message, no matter what time of day it is.
Yeah, I was thinking something else, but then this idea came up and I thought, yes, that is also something that I, yeah, I also struggle with that, yes.
See, I got a lot, but that's
Mhm.
probably me for my number one.
I think also asking for business. I think that's something I really struggle with, being more bold with that, being more comfortable, just integrating that into a conversation and bringing it up.
I'm glad you said bold.
Yeah, and that's why I gotta take it, right? 'Cause I don't wanna be too bold, right? Like, I don't wanna come off cocky. I think that's probably always in my head, so. No one likes.
You know, those are good, but I'll say self-confidence.
Telling myself no before I do anything.
I said like, knowing what to do, but not doing it, so execution maybe, procrastination a little bit.
Brittany, that's the answer, you know.
Yeah, she don't know.
Brittany is like,
Brittany, tell me one thing that you're really good at in business.
That I'm really good at.
Yep. You know,
Problem solving,
okay, tell us one thing that you know you're not good at.
creating a plan. I can stick to a plan.
Mhm.
I'm not good at creating a plan.
I cannot say no. I need to learn to say no.
Systems.
No way.
No, 100%. I am my own worst critic. Half the stuff I don't do is because I'm already in my head.
Oh, man, I feel that.
Oh, yeah.
said that.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's what's right after bold. That's when I was my most confident. That's the only reason I get excited about bold, is because I know that I need that mindset shift. Like, I'm getting emotional. Just I fake it well, guys, but I don't do all of it. Like, I got a listing appointment today, I'm already like, I'm gonna interview somebody else, like, and what if I don't do this? How do I not get her, how do I get her to sign there?
Mm.
That's kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mine is, details, like small details. I'm creating myself a lot more work because I'm not crossing my Ts and dotting my Is. I'm backtracking. An example, I keep forgetting to put in agent notes, leave the title our title company holds the money. So then, thank goodness I have a TC, but she is having to send an amendment to the title company is gonna hold the earnest money, you know what I mean? So these little things, I notoriously forget to upload my documents into the MLS. The seller's disclosure, I have it, I just somehow, I'm backtracking, so it's creating fires all day. That if I would just slow down and do it, I wouldn't have to be answering the call or the email. Can you please send me the seller's disclosure? Yep, I gotta do that. Oh, you know what I mean? So I'm creating myself more work.
Yeah.
Did I not? Being a little more detail oriented and moving so fast. Yes, I'm done. Like, I mean, I'll get like, a deal done and then I'm like, oh, here, Sarah. And I just dumped it to her, you know, and that's what she does, thank goodness. And so she's cleaning up my mess and she's super sweet about cleaning up my mess. She's like, you're fine, you're fine, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh my gosh, I should do better at that. So little details that's creating myself a lot more work and a lot more chaos throughout the day. Because I kind of thrive in chaos. I've done that my whole life, you know, so, the next little exercise I want us to do, then we'll go to this one form, because I only had one page. So I don't know who gave me to me, but thank you. I have one page. So the one thing I wanted us to do is just to take 1 minute here and just close our eyes and think, take a breather. And think about the thought that we are exactly where we're supposed to be today. We are doing exactly what we're supposed to be doing today. When we know better, we do better. But I want us to all have the permission today to, like, if we're not okay with all the systems and all that yet, we'll get there someday. Let's take all that load off of us right now and just know that we are okay doing what we're doing today. And when we know better, we'll do better, you know? And so, for me, that's what I have to do. Like, I'm not that person, you know, and I'm just gonna be okay. So let's just think about that thought for a second, that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing today. All of us are. We're exactly the way, you know, if we believe in God, like our company says, then he has a plan for us. And today we're right where we're supposed to be. So, just like a quick 30 seconds, just think of that thought, that I'm doing it right. Let's get the mindset that I'm doing it right. I'm doing it right for me. Like what works for me, I'm doing it. Okay, good job. Does that help? Like when we like, just think about how well we are doing, you know, like, cause I can get into the weeds of how everything I'm not doing correctly, you know, so we each said one thing we know we're really good at, and one thing that we know we need to work on, you know, and so, one of the other things I wanted to point out is we all have a plan. Some of us are okay with a little bit of business, you know, we just want, you know, some vacation money, a little extra, whatever. Some of us want to build a bigger business, you know, so wherever you're at, I mean, that's gonna have to be part of your focus, you know, like, do I just want like, you know, 4 deals a year, or do I want 4 deals a week, you know, and then you have to think about what it's gonna take to get there. So, this isn't my first business that I started. I started, a coffee shop one time from the ground up. Didn't know anything about coffee, didn't know anything about the roasting process, didn't know anything about origins, didn't know anything about any of it. So I felt like I saw a vision and I'm like, I'm gonna do this, you know? And I took a step, and it was a faith step. It was like one step at a time, you know, and then the next piece presented itself when I took that step, you know, so, real estate's the same way for me. Like, I've done this before. Like, it's a different, like, kind of a different thing, but I've done this before. All of us have life experiences that we've done things before that we just have to put into practice. So going from, you know, focusing, like all of these things that are on this list, the first thing is to focus, and to see the end. For me, that means I have to see the end from the beginning. Not everybody is wired that way. Like, I'm a visionary, so I can see that. Then I have to start trying to figure out, starting from the, what do you guys call that? Starting from here and working way backwards or whatever.
Yeah.
Start with
Like
the
reverse, yeah, reverse
The
engineering.
Yes,
Mhm.
so my goal is I want to build a big business, and I've kind of given myself a 3-year span to do that. And so, in 3 years, by the end of my 3rd year, I have some pretty big goals. So basically, I mean, I want to have a team. I want this to be pretty much self-sufficient, you know, like running itself, admins, a buyer's agent, listing it, you know what I mean? I really, and I think I can do it.
Oh, you can.
Yeah,
I can.
absolutely. Mhm.
You have a rainmaker personality, I just want.
But I think it was Dave Ramsey says, live today like no one else, so that you can live tomorrow like no one else.
Mhm.
So I remember Aaron Hoover saying the first year in real estate, when he jumped in or whatever, he literally said to his, and this might not apply for everyone, but he said to his family, like, you're not gonna see me for a year. Like, I'm going to do this and go all in with everything I got. And then, you know, I have that mentality right now. Like, I feel like I'm missing a little bit with my daughter, but when I think about my goal of like, if I get this right, if I go from E to P and I get this right, what it will do for her down the road, what it's gonna do for my other children down the road and my grandchildren. So for like this 3 years, like, I'm going all in, and that means I might, you know, 5 AM to 10 PM at night. Like, I mean, I might be doing emails, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all in for 3 years, and it's not much different than what I was doing before. Like, I wasn't that present before. I mean, I was working in a trailer factory, coming home and exhausted, and really wasn't that present. So I'm kind of giving myself a break when okay, so I'm not real present right now with her, but I feel like the end result is gonna be way, way bigger, you know? So when it comes to my purpose, the purpose that I want to do is leave a legacy for my kids, like leave an inheritance for my kids. That wasn't even an option before. And I mean, like, I'm still living commission check to commission check. I'm not there, not even anywhere close, you know what I mean? So I'm still there. But I can see if I can just keep going. When I started the coffee business, I was in it for 3 years. I built the business, built the menu, built the clientele, and then I sold it. It was 3 years, sold it, made a profit on it. So I'm not saying that real estate, I'm gonna sell like my business, you know, but in 3 years, I want it to be doing what it can do. So it gives us a list of things that we can do. Focus, focus on your 20%. Find strategic options, like, and everything doesn't have to be done the same way. Like, she's a system person, I am not. Here's the deal. I'm almost 50 years old and, I've been single different times in my life. I've figured it out. Like problem solving and getting through the day, I figured it out. Like, so if something isn't working, I can change the way that I do it, you know, like this isn't gonna work for me. It might work great for her, but that's not gonna work for me. That's okay. Like, that's okay in this business. Like, the fact that we are doing business at a high level, we're getting something right. You know, like, I mean, we're getting it right. So, I want to figure out how this can be done. So everything that we talked about that we aren't good at, the thing that we're good at, the thing that we aren't good at. How can we change that a little bit? So that we can be better at getting done what we need to get done.
There you go.
Yep.
It's mindset work for me. I mean, it's everything that everyone's like, oh, it's the hoorah, like rally stuff. Yeah, give it to me. Feed it to me. I'll eat it all day long. That's why I go to family reading. That's why I go to meditation camp. That's why I do gold. Like, I need those shots in the arm. I've been a huge podcast junkie and that's really helped. Like, I'm sure I would read self-help books if I read, but at the end of the day, having it, my identity being Christ and seeing it that way and not lifting myself up to something that I'm not, but rather taking in what God made me to be and performing at a high level with that.
I would say, just accountability too, and just kind of going along. And when you were talking even about, like having to backtrack and go in reverse, and redo, I think that's more of a reason why the systems and the checklist is so important and going from entrepreneurship to purposeful, because we have to perfect those things. And even though we're wired, as we talk about flying by the seat of our pants, if you really want the team concept where you're sitting back, we have to establish those systems, right? In order for it to be successful, because it doesn't run just on a fly by the seat. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, again, reiteration, creating those checklists and, you know, getting those systems in place so it can be bigger than, you know, going from entrepreneurship to purposeful. So, yeah, good stuff.
So I, wrote down a couple of pages. Remember to go back and do this. Page, do the 411 again. Page 45, 45 is the, duck bunker. I feel like I'm time blocking and the big to do, and I feel like I'm already started that path and I'm feeling better about that. And then I like this page 51, the break through the ceiling. So just putting all the systems together.
Well, I had an aha when you were talking about, not having disclosures uploaded, getting emails for that. So I had a transaction coordinator / assistant for a while, and so I never thought twice about that stuff. She just did it, and, when she left, I was like, oh, I'm not even that busy, like, I'm not even doing near the business I was doing, like, I have time to do this on myself.
Ooh.
I think you definitely need somebody to do that for you to survive, because
Yeah,
why are we wasting time?
yeah, but that's the leverage part.
Yeah,
And not feeling bad, because Sarah, she's amazing too, like you said, she doesn't mind, and she already knows, she knows when you send her stuff, she knows you now. She knows she's gonna forget it, even me, Tiffany, don't forget to put your license number, I'm like, oh God, every single time.
Really quick, I want to chime in on this, because this is a mistake a lot of people make, and this is just my opinion, but when you create leverage pieces, if you don't understand how the system works, you don't know, A, if somebody's doing a bad job, and B, at the end of the day, it's you, and then C, when they leave, it shouldn't throw you for a loop, because you should understand how that system works. I've just seen too many people do that, where they're like, I don't need to know this because this person, they could be doing this job and barely getting it to the finish line. That's all a reflection on you. You are the top dog.
Mhm,
And if all these people are doing a bad job and you don't realize it,
mhm,
that's hindering your business.
mhm,
So it's great we have Harmony and they do a great job.
mhm.
And again, like we talked about, don't be afraid to speak up. If, you know, like, hey, like, this doesn't seem to be working that smoothly. Well, you realize that, but if you didn't say anything,
Mhm.
that is gonna be a reflection of you, so be careful of
Mhm.
being too hands-on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You need to understand when things are going well and not well, and you need to help create the systems.
Yeah.
Because it should be plug and play with the person too, that comes in as your next TC. There should be a binder of all the checklists and the things that this gets to eat. What we're all talking about is we're just winging it. We're just trusting that. We're operating too much in the E part.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into the opposite part, the P side of that.
Mhm.
It has to be that system.
As I look at it,
I love all that, all those details,
Mhm.
and I love that when I was new, we didn't have anybody to do it, so I had to learn to do it all.
We were
And I
all
did.
operating as an entrepreneur, then we're just
Yes.
winging it, we're just like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and,
we
and
might be here
now,
in a year, we might not.
but now I'm, I'm so anal that I feel like I have to do it myself.
Mhm.
I want it done just a certain way.
To be right.
But then I also know that I need to give it to somebody else because, that's.
When
another
you
thing
know
I-
enough about the business now, that's okay.
Mhm.
And you're gonna understand if they're not doing a good job.
Yeah, but that's something at family reunion, they also said is, you need to look at what's producing you money.
Mhm.
And then first, if you don't like something, give it to someone else. And then there are a lot of things that you don't have to have a license to do,
Mhm.
like, I need like an admin. And I could use Harmony, but
Do you, or getting your schedule in better
You
shape,
don't
you won't need it.
use Harmony?
no, because I think it's,
yeah,
yeah.
You don't use it either?
I did my last deal.
I mean, I think they're great, I think they're
I'm
great,
not
but
pitching
again,
Harmony, I'm just saying.
I know, I mean, I think they're so great.
But I'm just talking about needing an admin.
Yeah.
Like, do we, or do we need to work on your schedule? And it's an honest question.
Well, because I think I enjoyed it, so I'm like, like I have a listing comment, I'm like, just do it, but I need to not need to,
Yeah. The way that they, and again, like you said, not pushing Harmony, but she has Sarah and I have Sarah, I'm the same person.
Yeah, I use Sarah
Sarah
too.
texts
Mhm.
me, and I feel like she's
Mhm.
my own personal,
Mhm.
admin, because the way that she makes me feel,
Mhm.
and she knows me, and I don't get a different person, so it makes me feel like that.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then I've learned, it, like you said, it could be pricey, but for me, it's worth it, and then charging it in that admin fee, because
Mhm.
otherwise.
Mhm.
The
Can I-
first time I hired them.
How
I
many-
felt
how many
like I
deals
was
did you do last year?
It's like, my gosh, this is all getting.
Oh,
Something, 42.
Man.
You have a whole nother class. Lauren, how many deals did you close last year?
18. Oh,
18?
Mhm.
So how much does Harmony charge you?
I do the, 350, and depending on how complicated, I'll do the 425, but
Alright.
350 is all.
Lauren, you got your calculator out, do 40 times 350.
So it's doing
That's okay,
14,000.
14,000. Do you think you could hire an admin for $14,000 a year?
Mhm.
Pretty cheap.
And how long is it gonna take you to train an admin?
Mhm.
Yeah, if you hire a transaction coordinator, you pay per file. Same thing.
No, what he's saying for that amount, 14,000 is nothing.
Yeah,
No.
14,000 a year, nothing.
Yeah, that's not,
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a good way to look
But you
at it.
gotta decide what you want that to look like, and
Mhm.
again, he literally wrote the book on this.
Mhm.
The second half of the MREA book
Mhm.
talks about this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
She
Desmond,
said
you're
you're
up.
up.
Sorry, yeah.
Can you repeat the question?
Okay, so we talked about what we're really good at, we talked about what we're not so good at.
Yeah.
What's the one thing that we can do to help with what we're not so good at?
So remember what I said, I was not good at knowing what to do, but just not executing sometimes. So for me, it would be, and I just thought about this in this class today. Remember, one of my goals was, I just wanted an example. Remember, I wanna be in Mexico, or I wanna own a home over there, so that's just one of them. So I just need to ask myself, do you wanna do that or not? And just straight up like that in the morning time, when it's time to go do what I need to do, and I'm talking myself out of it. It just comes down to, do you want to, if your goal is retire your wife, do you wanna retire your wife or not? So, or do you want to pay for your grandkids' college or not? Which is probably that's the straight answer. So, holding myself accountable instead of accountability.
Just move the no out of here to external no, because it could be yes.
I'm sorry. I don't know what we're talking about. Are we still on the same thing?
We are, we got,
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
we got
yeah.
a little sidetracked.
Yeah, basically, I mean, for me, it's just a mindset thing at this point. I really have to do some work there.
I would agree, mindset is probably a huge thing. I didn't realize how much I love systems until coming to KW, but it has definitely changed my life. I think if I were able to do that at a higher level, I'd be a lot more successful in sticking to it. But I do get a lot of sense, it feels really nice to have a system and it's the same every time. And then I know immediately when things are off. And so, yeah, that is, I think, kind of an aha since getting into real estate. Before, seeing a calendar with like a bunch of stuff on it was like, and now I'm like, I know what I'm doing every day. And I love that because I do what I want every day. And I just need something and I have something, but it's sticking to that lead gen thing. Because appointments and trainings and those things, like I'm always going to show up. If I say I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. And maybe 15, 20 minutes late. But yeah, I think that, having that same focus, sitting down and lead genning, because like I'll show up for anybody, but like lead genning is showing up for myself. And so I think that that's a big thing for me that I need to work on.
Great one. So what do you think is the best way, because a lot of us are talking about systems and needing systems. So necessarily, your system would be different than mine, or what other, what is the best way, do you think, to find the system that you need and will work best for you?
You gotta try one.
Yeah, just start with one.
Yeah.
You gotta create one, try it, then work around it.
And I think too, talking to, like, I'm listening to everybody else, and I'm like, I need to get with that person and figure out what they're doing. Like, we're like, can you share that? I think, each one teach, like, hey, I need you to share what
Yeah.
Rocky sent you.
Yes.
Like, even not relying on.
I'm like, are you kidding me? You did over 40 deals. I need to talk to you. But yeah, like you can all learn from each other. Mhm.
What did you?
Yeah.
Nancy, what,
Mhm.
what,
Mhm.
Here, can I corral this? I'm gonna have a time block class at first week of May. And that's what this is. So we're talking about, then you can bring what you do, and you can bring what you do, and you can bring what you do,
Mhm.
and then
I
we.
think that's great.
We're
Yeah,
gonna-
even if I felt
Yeah.
like I was okay with
Yeah.
something.
It can always be better, yes.
What's the
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
yeah, so we'll do that. So mine, and it all leads around moving E to P, because I learned, those who don't know, I had a Motorola two-way business. My dad and I bought 1990, 100 years ago. And we knew that we were great at relationship building. We knew we were great salespeople. And we learned after about 3 years that you only go so far on talent. Right? You can only do so much on talent. And then that's what entrepreneurialism is your talent. Purposeful, when you become purposeful about your talent, growing your talent, that's when our business just took off. We learned, and like, it's just like we hear a lot of you talk about, and you said it, Desmond, you know what you need to do, but you don't necessarily do it.
Mhm.
But when you start implementing what you know and then improving on your talent, you know, the sky's the limit for everybody in this room. Because the 12-week year says it, right? Knowledge is only powerful if you implement the knowledge.
Mhm. Mhm.
Because I knew a lot when I was playing Xbox with my buddies at midnight, because I didn't go to bed, right? Because wasn't really implementing the knowledge of I need 7, 8 hours of sleep, like Amy talked about. And, you know, learning to be present when I need to be present. You know, so, but moving from E to P was taught to me in my early 20s. And in real life, because we were, after about 2 or 3 years, we were deciding, did we really do what we need to do? Neither one of us have business degrees. Do we need to jump into this? When we started really paying attention to what we were being taught. And then we blew up.
Right.
It's the biggest thing for me is just being able to say no to clients, of building, so like, even just saying, hey, I don't have time to talk, I'll give you a call back, and setting that expectation of when I'll be getting back.
So the E to P can also be, the video is gonna say this, the easy to the painful. So one of the things that we have to talk about really quick is no matter what systems or what we have, this is a relationship business. If you're not personable with people and, you know, building that relationship, all of the systems in the world isn't going to get the deal done, you know, like, it's just not, like, going back to the coffee shop experience that I had starting, like, I was excellent with people. I was not excellent on the back end, you know what I mean? Like bookkeeping and payroll and all those things, hated it. So I leveraged that out pretty quick. When someone approached to buy the business, in my mind, and I just want you guys to think about this, because you are the best you can be. So in my mind, I thought she was going to excel way farther than what I had built in 3 years. And like, I thought, this woman's got her systems together, she's got everything, she's got some money to back her. I was trying to operate a business on cash because I took Dave Ramsey, so I had no money and I was trying to keep this going. I'm like, okay, this is the answer. She's gonna take this, what I've built, and she's gonna take it to the next level. I sold her the business, and within a year, she was completely out of business. Because she focused on all of the things at the back end and having to make sure everything was done. She stopped talking to the people that were walking in the door. And the people and the customers and the locals that were walking in the door, she didn't even see them anymore, and they stopped going. So within a year, she was shut down, couldn't even sell it because the books money wasn't there, so she couldn't sell it. She had put money into it, she bought equipment and did all the things that I wanted to be able to do, but I couldn't. But when a customer walked in the door, I made sure that they knew that I saw them and that I had time for them. So I just want us to, like, if we aren't doing that part, we're not going to make it. And people just want to be heard and seen. And my conversion rate is high because we all know I have ADD. So for a few split seconds, people will never forget how you make them feel. You know what I mean? So if you can make them feel like, I'll figure this stuff out, like the stuff that we're talking about, the system, I'll get there. It's important, I'll get there. You know, in my mind, we're sitting here, I have a solution. When someone books a showing on showing time, I always try to send them a quick text. Hi, this is Marlene with Keller Williams. I see you just booked a showing. Thank you. Just letting you know that I'll be available the rest of the day and into the evening if you need to reach me for anything. Boom. How many agents are like, that's so nice, you know, like, thank you for reaching out, thank you for saying hi to me, you know what I mean, just a quick hi. In my mind right now, my solution is, at that point, I need to make sure they have a seller's disclosure and a lead paint and all the things, you know what I mean, and then I'll have to do it later, and if I just need to put it in the MLS system, but you know, at that point, I need to double check that. So that's my system right now, that one little tiny thing I'm gonna tweak. That is gonna save some chaos in my day, you know, or whatever. I mean, just that one little thing.
Use harmony for now to input your listings for the moment while you're figuring that out.
In fact,
And getting in the habit.
that was the only thing
Yeah.
I always paid for was inputting my listing. No, see, I've done, you're doing the
It's
hardest
work.
part.
It's work.
All the other stuff, admin wise, is, and to me, that's the hardest. And
I've been doing the,
no, yeah,
all the listings, I've done all my own listings, input, I just,
definitely.
as soon as it's under contract, I give it to Harmony.
Mhm.
Oh, well, you should
Doesn't mean
definitely.
you need to change it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only.
Let's watch this video really quick, 'cause you need to get going to the
Yeah,
next
we're
section.
on page. I just hope that. You preaching.
What is Harmony?
They're a transaction coordinating company we partnered with.
Okay.
They're
They
gonna,
take care of everything from contract to close.
Okay.
You like have your own person.
I had $1 for every time I asked.
Oh.
Have an admin, but she does not do our transaction.
What does she do?
She does all the
Yet.
office stuff.
Yet.
Yes, yeah. She better. We have 2 now, so hopefully at some point one of them will be. Harmony started charging the Fair 400. They told us because of all the steps and systems that we have for emails and follow-up and everything else. So I was using them at 350. Then Brandon started using them, and then Brandon started to build a system within Harmony, and they're like, okay, it's 400 now because you guys have extra steps. Makes sense, but that was like the switch for me because we can't, our admin fee is $295 and we are not allowed to raise it. So I'm in the hole every time I use a transaction coordinator. And so it just got to the point where it's like, I have one right now, I'll just do it. But like, I know the next month, like, I'm gonna be doing it using it every time because I have to. I get the leverage and the value, it's just the 400 is really hard. But I've used some other.
Is that a team thing, Lauren?
Yeah.
Okay. And say, cause I started like, making different templates and really personalizing stuff with Harmony. It's been a game changer. I love it. There's little things, but it has changed things significantly. They also, yeah.
And that's what I don't get, like, we.
Initially, I mean, Angie, when I was on the R group.
So like what's for instance,
So for me, like, as soon as you go under contract, it's like a congratulations and next steps. And so it goes in, it's a lot similar to like what Harmony does, but it's just a lot more nitty gritty. It gets in there. Like,
Okay.
we're gonna need an address to send wiring instructions, like your earnest money is due, at this time, this address, this location. Once you, write the check, send a picture of it, like, it buttons everything up. There's the text message, like for the co-op, for the client, but then I also said, like, I spend a lot of time just talking to the other agent, little things, like, so like, why don't we have a co-op? Why don't we have a three-way message between my TC, myself, and the other agent? Like, that's so nice, because if I'm doing something, a lot of times it's a quick question, like Sarah can answer it. She knows everything that's going on. So those things have really been helpful. And then it feels like it's more me.
Yeah,
Um,
and and I know this is not what we're talking about,
Mhm.
but sorry to interrupt, but that's the thing about Sarah too. She sends out a list congratulating your seller. You're under contract, here's what to expect,
Mhm,
congratulating your buyer, get your earnest money.
Mhm.
Those are the little things,
Mhm.
those little
Yep.
things. And then she sends a group text message.
Mhm.
"Hey, I'm Tiffany's transaction coordinator.
Mhm.
She's still working with you, but
Mhm.
it's really good. And like I said, it's a game changer.
Yeah, it
It's a
is.
game
It
changer.
lays everything out. And then we do a final steps. So it's, I
Yeah.
think usually 2 or 3 days before closing, that goes out.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, we're just tying up all these loose ends. Did you already wire your money on the buy side? It's like, yeah, did you do XYZ? Make sure that you bring your ID, bring, a checkbook just in case you need it to closing, like all of those things, because the last thing I want to do is, we're ready to close and something's not done. So that's been really helpful, definitely.
And just sit there and think about what do you want that system from A to Z to look like? So just like you at the beginning of the section, had us sit and close your eyes, like do that for your clients. Like, all right, I'm working with the buyer. From the first phone call through way past closing, what do you want that experience to be? How can you answer questions before your clients even know the question? And do that for the sellers and draw that out. Because
I'd like to take
whoever
someone
talked about
else's-
it earlier,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
well, then use Harmony a couple times and you can kind of
Yeah.
build your own
Mhm.
systems. And again, like she said, she talked to them.
Yeah.
And they tweaked.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's been. Mhm.
we'll watch this video here really quick.
Hi, I'm Wendy Harrelson. I've been with Keller Williams since 1991. Today, I'm here to talk to you about one of the 6 personal perspectives, entrepreneurial, purposeful, E to P. So entrepreneurial to purposeful is a way to describe it. Also, easy to painful. Sometimes that may make a little bit more sense in our business, right? So what I'm gonna talk to you today is about one personal experience about being E to P, going from E to P. When I was an agent, a very young agent, on a very slim budget, I had to figure out a way to do marketing. How could I get my name out there? So I decided that I was going to hand out cookie cutters on different holidays with a cookie recipe. Made them myself, hand tied them, and I walked a neighborhood and I handed out 100 every single month on a different street. People they would ask for more. They would send me a text and say, hey, I would love to see more of these. Some people would say, why didn't I get these shamrock in March? And I would have to say, you're gonna get something next month. So anyway, it was fun. It was great. It was exciting. But after time, I did it for about a year. I became a little bit bored. It wasn't exciting anymore. It wasn't really challenged. And I started to feel myself getting a little bit burned out. One day my phone rang and it was one of these people that I had sent a cookie cutter to. And they said, I would like to use you as my agent and I'm going to buy a house in this particular neighborhood. This particular neighborhood was at least 3 to 4 times the price that I was marketing. And I was a little bit scared. It put me out of my comfort zone a little bit. I decided, well, become very purposeful and go represent these people in this higher price neighborhood. After I sold the house, I realized that I can do this. So I had to change my whole entire mindset and become more purposeful in my business, not just entrepreneurial, doing what's easy, what's exciting. So I started marketing other neighborhoods. Over time, ran a very successful business. It was very successful as far as more deals, not so much marketing anymore. So I felt a little bit burned out. Realized again, I've got to become more purposeful. It was getting very comfortable. So a team leader opportunity was presented to me. And I thought, oh my gosh, team leader, what a scary experience. And then it's not just about me, it's about everybody else in the market center, creating opportunities, teaching models and systems to these people. So when you become from entrepreneurial to purposeful, you have to implement models, systems, accountability. I really had to think about this decision. Well, I did decide on taking the opportunity. Became a very successful team leader, created a lot of opportunities for other people. And I realized that, again, you can become entrepreneurial in your own current position, and you have to become purposeful. You have to wake up every single day and decide, I'm going to be entrepreneurial purposeful. Nothing wrong with either one of them. It's just that when you decide to become purposeful, you probably will create more opportunities, not only for yourself, but for others. Okay, so in a brief summary, entrepreneurial to purposeful, E to P. Remember, E is easy, fun, exciting, not so many models and systems. You can actually hit ceilings of achievement. So become purposeful. It might be a little uncomfortable, might be a little bit painful. You may have to put a little accountability in there, but also the models and systems that we have in this company will get you through that ceiling of achievement, will allow you to move on to the next level. Because at every position that you'll ever be in, pretty much every position you're probably in your life, there's always a way to go a little bit farther. And so it has to go back to models and systems, purposeful, pain sometimes, a little bit of pain, a little bit of uncomfortableness. But you know what? When you focus on that, become focused on being purposeful, you do other things for other people, creates a better life for yourself, your family, everyone around you. So here's my message. Let's go be purposeful.
It's good. Does anybody have any aha on this?
I'm the E. That's me. I'm the E. Want to get to the P.
Yeah.
I like doing things that are fun. Things that I like, but I don't like being uncomfortable.
One of the things I'd like to point out is like, I kind of feel like maybe that we can be both. I don't think we have to go from the fun, creative person that we are to a stringent system model thing, like, because the idea of that makes me like, I don't want to be that person. So I think that we can probably somehow be both at the same time. And I know that there is room for, I know that I need systems that are, I need checklists. I like that. I need checklists. I need checklists in my life to make sure that I'm getting everything done the right, that needs to get done. But I don't know. I think that the E part is the part where I think that's the part that creates us the money, that creates us the business. If we look, okay. I hope Brittany don't care. I don't- When I came in this room this morning, I start thinking of all of the checklists. And Brittany sent me a text and said, "Are you okay?" Probably because that wasn't being my normal self. My normal self is what's making me money. The happy, like, outgoing, you know, when I'm not that, everybody notices.
Yeah, to me.
I kept looking at you, I'm like, are you ready to cry? Because I'm thinking about all the things, all that I'm not doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want all these great systems, and I want all these things in this little cookie cutter world, and life doesn't work like that. It never has, it never is going to. It doesn't work like that. I mean, if you can do it, great, I think it's great for you. It doesn't work like that for me. So when life comes and I take it as it comes, problem solving, like you said, you know what I mean? I've been a problem solver my whole life. If you're a single mom and raised 6 kids, you have learned to handle chaos and to problem solve as it comes. You know what I mean? And when I get in a mode where all I can think about of what I am not doing, I lose my personality. And, going back to the coffee shop, and I'm thinking, when I sell to this person, she's gonna be able to do it so much better than me.
I think that story is so profound. You know what I mean? That you keep doing you and the things that you're not as good at, you don't like.
That is why KW's leverage is huge for me. That's why I joined KW, because when I got here, Brian's like, you don't have to do everything. You just have to be good at what you're good at, and we'll figure out the rest. We still do that every day. Like every day when him and I talk, number one, if you're gonna pay for a coach, have one that you can be 100% transparent with. If you can't be 100% transparent with them, you're wasting your money. If you can't say, yesterday, I called Brian, we were in a conversation, and I said, so I went under contract earlier today, and I forgot to call off a showing. An agent showed up. He's mad at me because he called me and I forgot to cancel the showing and showing time, and he just drove to the house, and now we're at a time. You know how big I felt? But if I can't say that to my coach, if I can't say it to that accountability partner, what, you're wasting your money. You know what I mean? So me saying that to him, he didn't like yell at me or whatever, like, yeah, that's right with that too.
Yeah, fair.
Yes.
Such a nice gift card.
Yeah, so I messaged him, you know, I apologize. I've talked to him, I'm so sorry, sir. I said, there's no reason, I'm not gonna give you an excuse, I'm sorry, you know, please forgive me, whatever. Then he went into showing time and made the comment in showing time. So I responded to him, we've already discussed this on the phone. You have my apologies. I'm sorry. This is the first time that's happened. I hope it's the last time. Not betting on it, but you know what I mean? Like, I hope this is the last time. Things happen, you know? And so then he replied back and he said, you're right, I'm sorry. He wanted to make sure it was in writing and showing time. You know? And I felt that to him, so I just said, listen, we already discussed this. I apologize. What else can I do? You know, nothing. And then he said, I'm sorry. And he said, if it comes back up, let me know. And I said, absolutely, sir. Thank you. Have a nice day. You know what I mean? So like, if you can't have that accounting for a coach or whatever, if you're doing that, you have to be able to say, I'm forgetting the seller's disclosures, I'm forgetting this, I just did this, you know what I mean? Those are the things that once you mention it, most likely, that's probably not gonna happen again, because I have said it, it's come out of my mouth, I've told another person, you know, like, I mean, and Brian will have my back. I mean, the next time we go under contract, he's gonna say, Marlene, make sure you cancel all the showings. You know,
Right?
that's what he does,
Uh-huh.
you know, but he can't.
Mhm.
He can't do that.
We all have those things
Yeah.
happen, and you're like, it happened, you're like.
Well, let's say that guy didn't accept the apology for, that's not your problem at this point.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
you can't take that burden on. I mean, all of us are in that boat, you know, so we're gonna make
Nobody's
mistakes.
Yep.
perfect.
Mhm,
Right,
mhm.
Yeah, that's like the fellow disclosure thing, you hire that out, have someone do that now, and then that's gone.
Yep. So anyway, I feel like I've talked a lot, but, thank you for noticing, and I have to be very purposeful of staying my personality.
Mhm.
Because when I'm not, I'll go broke. Like, people are drawn to me, it's been my whole life, and I'm not too, like, people are drawn to me, and they're drawn to my personality, and when I get into that funk, it changes the whole atmosphere, the whole things around me, my whole family, the people that are looking to me, it changes it for me, you know? And I have to be purposeful of staying true to who I am.
I know immediately when I call you on the phone, when you answer, I'm like, hey, Rock, and I'm like, oh, what's going on, Marlon? What's going on? Let's talk about it.
It's
So,
not evident,
mhm,
like, it's, you know, and I know this, so the purposeful for me is to not get overwhelmed on systems and like all the things, and just stay like, okay, everything's gonna be good today,
Mhm.
we're gonna have a good day today, let's smile, let's all be happy, and you know, like, yeah.
Big picture that you are working on systems.
mhm.
Like you are bringing on an admin, you have hired a TC, like as
Yeah.
much as you systems people don't like your system,
Mhm.
like.
You're
they're
probably
all-
doing that. Yeah, it's funny.
They're
Yeah.
all gonna improve your system because
Yeah.
you're smart enough to know
Mhm,
what you need help,
Mhm.
right? You're smart enough to know what doesn't feed your
Mhm.
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the little things,
mhm,
right? But you're also smart enough to know that if those things consistently drop, you will not have business.
mhm,
Repeat business, yeah,
Mhm.
right, right, because anybody can draw people in for the first one to get a chance, but it's not gonna work. So you are, like, don't beat yourselves up so hard about like, I need more systems, like, blow it up, big picture,
Yep.
like, do
Mhm.
Legion every day,
Mhm.
same time every day,
Yeah.
just,
Mhm.
that's your, right, just start it.
systems give you the flexibility to do the other things and be creative, so it's not, you know, handcuffing you into being stringent.
Right.
It just offers you that. flexibility.
Yeah,
mhm.
so I give my contracts to my TC, and then when I got here a year ago. And now I know how, and now I know how how to do Canva. I like to do Canva stuff, and create an image. I like to create an image of my business, you know what I mean? And I'm not really at a point where I think that somebody else can do that better than me. There's things that I don't think people can do better than me.
But you're creative, so that's perfect.
People can't do you better than you.
Mhm. Right,
People
it's
can't
true.
do you
Mhm,
better than you.
mhm,
And if we can get that at the soul core of us,
mhm,
someone else can't do you better than you.
mhm.
But somebody can do that document or something, like they can send that, maybe you can email that to anybody, you know?
That's by and large why you don't leverage out working with your clients and talking to your clients
Right.
because of that
Mhm.
exact statement.
Mhm.
Everything else you can, and you'll get to a point where showing you get, but again, teach them how to do things like you.
Mhm.
But then they're gonna put their own little spice to it,
Mhm.
they have their own personality, so that's where it's gotta all mesh together.
Right.
This is where all the pieces at some point, think, you know, I don't know what the biggest team in the company sells a year to you company. Sure, it's over 1,000 homes a year.
Well, it depends. We have a team in Michigan that sells 1,200 homes a year. I know there's a team out of San Antonio that does $1.2 billion. Cody Gibson's got an expansion team in 26 states and 5 countries. So, I mean,
The thing about that, I mean, it's got to exist, and that
Mhm.
flavor of each person has to be able to come through. But then there's gotta be a ringleader at the top of the chain.
Yeah.
So.
It's
When they get that big.
transparency.
Mhm.
Like, I think the biggest thing is transparency and having a coach.
Mhm.
And like I said, and I'll say it again, if you're gonna pay for a coach,
Mhm.
you better be able to tell them the good, bad, and the ugly.
Mhm.
Because if you can't say the good, bad, and the ugly to somebody, and it might just be an accountability partner,
Mhm.
we're not gonna grow.
Mhm.
Like, do I wanna sit here and tell you guys like, oh my gosh, I forgot to cancel the showing, and I keep forgetting to put the seller disclosure, and I keep having to backtrack, and I keep doing all these things? I don't wanna say that. I wanna look like this, like, I've got it all together kind of thing, you know, like, but it's not the truth. And I wanna get better, and I don't wanna be a crappy agent. I wanna be the best agent, you know, and, I care about people, and like, repeat business, like, I don't even have a plan for that yet, you know, like, I'm not like contacting my clients really, you know, the people that I've had, I don't have a plan for that yet. But when I ask them, would you recommend me to your friends and family, the answer has 100%, every one of my deals, they said absolutely.
Mhm.
So I might not have all these little things that people can't see behind the scenes together, you know,
but communicating with clients and making sure they know what the process and what's going on, I think I'm doing pretty well at. Because, you know, they'll reuse me, yeah.
Well, the good news is we're gonna have a class for that too, coming up very soon.
We need some more classes.
Yeah, well, I've got a list.
It's like, I'm listening to all y'all.
I've got a long list written down already.
I've
Classes
seen
coming up. So it's, I just need somebody to go, I'll teach that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have a class to show a workshop of how to show you how to create a smart plan for post-close,
Oh,
to stay in contact with your clients.
Yeah.
Cause the scary stat about that is that 85% of all closings, they love their agent and they would work with their agent again. 2 years later, only 15% of those people remember their agent's name. Yeah.
That's why I give them a Cutco knife with my name. Call me.
I've still got a cutting board with the agent's name on it. We don't use it. We just set it up.
Yeah.
Devin sets it up on the stove. It's decoration.
Well, great.
Yeah.
Where do you get them?
You're up.
And see
What's
that?
in?
I'm up.
She's
So are we
outside
watching the
somewhere.
video first or are we gonna?
It's a couple slides up.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
All right, so, I picked this one because I love going to trainings and I probably go to about every training do 4 times. So, learning-based individual is someone that made the decision to use effective learning. So, there's ignorance-based and learning-based. And interesting, like when we were new, I remember, I think I was the 27th agent here, and there were 3 of us that would come here. You were so helpful, by the way. But we would come here and we'd look at each other like, okay, what do we do? And there wasn't really anything, I mean,
There's still cardboard boxes that sit on it. That point.
yeah, you gave me an envelope of, contracts. You gave all of us one, so that we kind of had a clue, you know. I think they might have been filled out, I'm not sure,
Yeah,
but.
filled out and highlighted.
Yeah, so you were already. Yeah. Yeah, but it's the whole thing that I still think of all the time is you don't know what questions to ask. And you don't have a clue what they even are, so. And I think even like, again, talking about my time blocking, it's, I need to even know what the time drop, so. Anyway. To the next page, so 4 levels of competency. Again, the first one is not knowing what you do not know. On to 2, conscious incompetence. You don't know what you, at level 2, you know what you don't know. For example, once you start to drive, you might figure out parallel parking if you can't challenge it. So, you know, that's one of the things when I was new too, I would just come to the office and just start talking to people and hearing kind of what they were doing or problems they were having. Just to start, you know, I think just being in an office and being around other people you'll learn so much.
I can attest to that. That's why I
Yes.
believe Kansas City is
Yeah.
just to come here and
Yeah.
almost everything ends up being a mastermind.
Yeah.
And like, so I've learned so much and there was a shift in my business from, okay, I do everything Brandon tells me to do all the time to, okay, now I'm confident enough to know the right way, like ethically and legally and everything for Brandon to also now be able to answer in my own way and talk to my clients my own way because of what I've gained. I love the agents who come to all the trainings because they've been doing all the time. Like, I think that's extremely valuable.
Also, I have to hear something, I don't know, maybe 6 times before it actually like gets in my skull. Like I've done this training. I remember doing it last year. And at the time I walked away and I was like, this was so good. And then when it came up again, I was like, I'm absolutely doing this again because this is being taught differently. And yeah, the trainings and being learning based is, I think, such an awesome part of KW and being in rooms with other agents. It's like my favorite thing to do.
So wash my car, wash my car.
Well, like you just said, like we teach, go to each training at least 3 times. Because every time it comes around, you're a brand new agent, right? Come to the person, it'll not make sense. We might be teaching it in Mandarin.
It's true.
Second time it comes around, now you got maybe a little bit more experience, conversations, maybe a few deals under your belt. 3rd time, a little bit more. So in this business, number 1 is not an excuse for doing a bad job.
Mhm.
Come to the office, surround yourself with people, like, well, we're the 27 of us here.
Mhm.
Even before that, like, when I first joined, visibility group was KW, because Aaron and Scott ran visibility group together. Like, we're just looking at each other, and I'm talking to them on Super Bowl Sunday, writing my first offer during the game.
Mhm.
Like, these guys are going to murder. You know, because it was a good game that day. Type and finally send it off at halftime, so I'm like, when I get to watch second half. But I didn't want to just be, I didn't want to bother them and do a bad job for my players, because not knowing what I don't know is not an excuse to do a bad job. This is why we built what we built, so that you have the resources to go to, the private page, other agents who need, you have a coach, then you got Lee as a managing broker. We have plenty of resources to go to.
So funny, because like listening to Marlon talk about the coffee shop again. I mean, I've read and been reading too. It's like, you don't have to be good at everything.
No,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And if you stick,
Mhm.
and that's another thing, I feel like sometimes, you know, there's a square hole into a round peg. And I don't like trainings, and I'm not saying to do that, but for someone to tell you, you should be doing this, when that's not who you are. I think sometimes it's taking, like for you, feeling stressed out about all those systems and the sales disclosure. You know what I mean? I mean, that's an easy fix, you know, not being able to talk to people, being really shy. is a lot harder.
Sure.
So,
Mhm.
I'm not that. Yeah. Yeah. Then on to 3, if you apply your wisdom to knowledge, you will move to level 3, conscious competence. An example is when you become proficient in parallel parking, though you may still have to focus on each step. So, and honestly, been in real estate for 6 years, I still feel like in a lot of ways I'm here. And I think it's because I'm not very organized and I, you know, don't have systems down. But I'm 6 years later, I'm gonna do it. Or I'm gonna find somebody more importantly to do. Yeah, I mean, like, why am I trying to do some of these things I'm not good at or don't wanna do? Because, now over time with additional practice, it becomes unconscious competence. I would think that with scripts and things, when it becomes, where it's unconscious when you're talking to somebody, that when it's real anyway, so.
Well, think of something even more basic, sorry to
No,
interrupt,
no,
but inspections.
yeah.
Your first inspection, first deal, probably not like you're handling, picking, right now. I need to be very, now you're just like, oh yeah, we got
Yeah.
one in the basement, here's what we do.
Yeah, it's so true.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
I remember thinking, I might not be able to do this because I hated it. And I'm like, I don't know anything about how to fix a house and
Mhm.
I don't really want to know. It seemed. And then I actually taught some classes on it because I thought, well, I really need to learn. And now I'm like, I love them, but I don't have a problem going through the process and, you know, learning ways to get through it smoothly, you know, so.
And I'm glad that you said that too, because like you just said, it's thinking about going through the home buying process and inspection, like now it's not a big deal. We also have to take the time to celebrate those wins,
Mhm.
because we don't, like, we are so busy just doing the thing that we're like, man, okay, we're still gonna close. I actually probably solved, you know,
Uh-huh.
and God,
Mhm.
everybody's happy. It's a
Mhm.
win for
Mhm.
all. So I think too, as we're moving and
Mhm.
doing the things, we also have to
Mhm.
make sure that we celebrate ourselves, you know, for being
Mhm.
able to, you know, navigate. Because the thing about it, like you said, it doesn't matter if you've been in real estate 6 months or 16 years.
Mhm.
It's, you're always, I mean, anybody that think they mastered it, it's always, it's a learning curve. I'm like, I've never had that happen, and it's always something new every
Keeps
single
it
day.
interesting.
It does,
Mhm.
it keeps it interesting, and it just keeps you on top of your game, but you're
Mhm.
always learning, you're
Mhm.
always evolving, and, you know, you have to celebrate those wins. So I'm glad that you said that too.
Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Thoughts? Okay, so I like this because, tools you can use. And I love I love the classes or coming together and bringing strength like Rocky has. So, I think we have so many tools.
So we can all get on KW Connect and look up things that we need, so we can do our own trading and stuff like that. And then we've got, of course, Ignite, which, I don't know. Have you heard, oh, okay. Okay, Jesse, have you started? You started Ignite, yeah, Ignite's great, of course. And then we talked about the time management 411 tool.
Think of this, you know, but
Yeah, so we're not gonna really go through it, because it's just basically saying you've got lots of inlet buyers and sellers, and the already, so anyway. Several of these pages are just all the things that.
I'm gonna ask this question for right here. We've been talking about classes we could add in. We got a nice mix of really new people and veteran agents, like, what's a class as a veteran agent? Yes.
Rockies.
Yeah, yeah, I would
Class
have
on how
Rocky.
to,
Mhm,
I would say streamline the buying
Yeah.
experience is what sounds like.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
And so we're not, and again, it's not even about wasting your time, it's about not getting your clients' hopes up for houses that just won't work. And it's also saving your,
Mhm,
you know, but what's in it?
mhm,
And like you mentioned, not everyone's gonna wanna work with that amount of
Mhm.
streamlinedness and strictness,
mhm,
but there will always be people who wanna work with you
Yeah.
because of your methods,
Mhm.
and so you have to adapt what
Mhm.
methods you want to work
Mhm.
with. So if you don't wanna waste your time,
Mhm.
and you wanna be more streamlined with your buyers,
mhm,
then that's your choice, and
Mhm.
people get to choose if they like that or don't, but
Mhm.
don't be so money hungry that you're shifting who you
Mhm.
are to work with people that can't chase a commission check. It's
We were
about-
just
I would
stripping
be
that.
curious on this, maybe you guys know from talking to Rocky. How many buyers roughly has he lost over the years where I'm Rocky, you're the buyer?
Mhm.
And I keep telling you that, if you
Mhm.
keep sending me houses that
Mhm.
don't match, I do the whole script that he does. I wonder how many buyers are going on script.
So he
If that's
says,
something that-
yeah, he says like it doesn't happen
Yeah,
really
it-
very often
I
ever.
see sense it from
Mhm.
one
Mhm.
conversation, it's
Mhm.
not 20 conversations in, it's
Mhm.
like, oh, by the way,
So, yeah.
this is how it's gonna be.
It keeps them serious too, like they might come back to you later, but they might just realize, oh, you know what, I'm not ready for this, I'm actually
Mhm.
6 months out,
Mhm.
and then they come back. It doesn't mean they're gone forever, but it's streamlining his time and you're not, because I have one buyer that probably never buy, and I spent way too much time with her in the beginning,
Mhm.
a very low budget.
Mhm.
Way too low,
Mhm.
so like, that's done.
Mhm.
Even if there's, let's say, 2 every 6 months, I do that, he probably can do it, even though it's 2 overall.
Mhm.
He's got enough business where he's
Mhm.
like, this is my.
But it's at the table, he's setting his standard
Mhm.
and, you know, quoting the, the speech I like, he doesn't widen his plate.
Mhm.
You know, you don't widen your plate.
Yeah, he's like, this is my process.
This
I
is
do
what I
this
do.
the same way every
Right.
time with every person. And if you don't like that, that's fine.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's pretty powerful. And that scripting, we were talking the other day about basically, you know, there's 3 different ways a listing appointment can go, you know, they sign, they decide not to sign, or I decide not to work with you. And I feel like that was like a aha, because we don't necessarily want to work with everybody. And sitting at a table, I think a lot of sellers or most sellers probably don't ever think that a realtor is going to turn them down.
Yeah.
But having that, and I had that experience with a lender, because I'm sure you guys have all met with a bazillion lenders over the time. And they're always, not always, but a lot of times like, this is my great product. Look at what I can do. I can do this. I can do this for you. And I sat down with a lender last year and we just started talking and we're, I don't know, half hour in. And I was like, this is different. I'm like, what's your spiel? You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy this, but what's going on? And he's like, so like, we can get to that. But like, first I want to like learn about you and see if I even want to do business with you. And I was like, well, I want to do business with you because of that. To me, that was just like okay, so you're more selective. And that's important to me. And I realize that that's important to me. So
That's
I
why
think,
people want to work with luxury agents, because they feel like they're selective about who they work with.
yeah.
They're
mhm,
the draw to that.
Right.
Like you
Mhm.
respected that lender and wanted to work with him more
Yeah.
because he's specific about who he works with,
Right.
right?
mhm,
I think buyers and sellers are the same way.
mhm.
And I don't remember that when I should.
No, I yeah, I hear you. I struggle with that too, but
Yep.
it's a good reminder.
And then page 69 is all the books that we. And then, page 71, again, is more online learning tools, coaching, coaching. And then on to page 73 we are at an exercise,
Should we watch this video really
Yeah.
quick before we do the exercise?
Hi, everybody, my name is Mark Brennan, and I'm super excited to be with you today to talk about one of the 6 personal perspectives. That perspective makes being learning-based the foundation to your action plan. See, for some of us, we go and we learn for learning's sake, or you can choose to learn for doing so. My journey started back in April of 2003, and 3 days into my time at KW, I ventured to Detroit, Michigan, to hear Dave Jenks do a presentation on the newly issued book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. Dave that day did this little jingle, and I've never forgotten it, and it really became foundational and began to catapult me on my path with this company. And that was my success in real estate is in direct proportion to the number of people that when they think of real estate, they think of me. For the first 20 years of my professional career, I have to tell you, I can't say I was really learn-based. On that day really put me on the path to change the trajectory of my career. From there, I went on to be a team leader and operating principal, and then later on, moving backwards, became a mega agent in our company. And throughout my journey, I plugged into each and every educational opportunity I could find. It was Family Reunion, it was Mega Camp, it was Quantum League. I can remember getting it from Gary, that talk from Gary that very first time, and how impactful that had been. So much so that I decided I wanted to be on the path to become an instructor, and later on in my time with the company, become a master faculty member. And what I find is being a teacher, and each and every time I have the opportunity to be in front of people, I myself, I think, am learning more from them than maybe they're even learning from them. So that day back in 2003 put me on a journey to become very learning-based, and I've continued that for these past 18 years. My hope for each and every one of you is that you find your passion, you find that moment that puts you on the same path. See, we're a company of unlimited opportunities, and those unlimited opportunities come from people that take those 6 perspectives and make learning-based one of them, and let that be the foundation to the path.
so now we are not writing down our goals anymore, but we're choosing at least 3 things that you intend to learn from. So Ben walked through the shift book, that could be one of them. So let's think of 3 things you want to learn. You intend to learn from. Okay. Tell me one of your things, or 1, 2, or all 3 if you want, that you're going to choose to learn from.
I'm a situational learner, so, like, depending on what's going on or whatever, I pick up like bits and pieces. It's really difficult for me to like sit down long enough to focus on reading a book or an extended video. I just can't, I mean, I'm,
Same.
you know, 5 minutes in, and if that, I'm somewhere else. So situational learning for me is like, I need, if it's all of this, I need the point, and I need the point, and then we'll get there, you know what I mean? So, that's one of the reasons why you guys are important in my life, because it just gets to the point, you know what I mean? Like, because I can't stay focused on long enough, and it's really good to have a coach. Because, you know, when Brian was first my coach, he'd send me videos that he'd made, they're fantastic, you guys, like videos on YouTube, videos on each thing that you have any questions about, he has a video for it. And I said, okay, Brian, okay, this isn't gonna work. Like, I am not watching that 45-minute video, because I'm not gonna, like, I won't know what it said 5 minutes into it, like, it's just not gonna work. And so we figured out a way, you know, and everybody learns a different way, you know, mine's situations. Like, I have to be in the situation and figure it out. Yep.
I tried not to overthink it, so I put 411 to help learn focus, and then the shift book, because I haven't read it, and I know it's mentioned a lot. And then the work with sellers class, because I think I can, like I said, I can fake it very, very well in the listing appointment, but it's hard for me to close it. I don't feel confident in conversion. I go in feeling like, okay, I act like I already have the listing. I say, when we list, like I use all the words, all the Phil Jones, like what you're supposed to say, right? But like, that's why I asked Marlon, like, how do you, because I've been stressing the past 48 hours of like, how do I get this lady to sign before she meets with another agent, or her son comes into town next weekend and tells her, no, mom, you need to do this instead, like. And so that's the work with sellers, that's kind of.
So mine is, I laughed at Marlene because again, we are one and the same. I do not like to sit down and read books. That's just not who I am. But, so for me, YouTube, the Keller Williams, there's some people that I follow on YouTube. Amazing. I can type in any situation of even how to navigate the demand and how to set the smart plan. Phenomenal. And then actually showing up here, because talking to everybody and hearing different perspectives, situations, your challenges, your strengths, it really is helping me. Like, this has been great. So that's,
Big master.
it really is, and I absolutely love it. Like, I'm really loving, so I'm trying to be, in the market center a little bit more to, get this, because it's good.
I put, KW Connect, but now I'm just added YouTube to that.
Yes.
That might be. The point, the class we're gonna have on leverage, now that I'm not doing CE that day. You're welcome. Agent masterminds, and it's so funny because I am not, I feel like when I go to a listing appointment, my conversion rate is very high, but I feel like I feel like I'm so not pushy that I don't close it as quickly as I should. You know what I mean? I need to be better at that, so. I think the conversion rate, okay. Yeah.
Is your conversion rate high with people who know you outside of real estate?
Yes.
My conversion rate with people who know me is 100%. My conversion with, I'll just say leads, is probably more like. In the 6 listing appointments that ever went on, I don't know, person, it's probably 20.
I actually get, it's funny, because when you walked in, I'm just like, oh my gosh, she's so cute, I bet she just killed it, not because you're cute. You don't have a lot of. I mean, but
It's been a shift for me. So I've
Yeah.
been in the business a while and then
Yeah.
just something happened. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Where there
Yeah.
was a shift.
Was it kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little
That's what I
bit,
blame
but-
everything on. No.
No, I mean, the industry has changed so much and I didn't, where I came from, I didn't have systems. We didn't have extra coaching and training. And so I'm kind of like in my little box and I know how to do everything. I just don't, it's like a limited mindset, like.
We have a.
Yeah, we all have, we all have that.
Like, I'll never be that big. And then I'm like, also, I have to be comfortable knowing that like, I'm actually okay never being that big. And it's hard for me to feel like an asset to something, because the mindset is like, you have to be number one. Otherwise, are you really an asset? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get.
And it's just switching my mindset.
Oh, yeah. I'm
But-
coming from a totally different world. So this is
Yeah.
all very different. This is
Yeah.
all a huge shift.
There's a lot of colorisms.
Yeah, and I always met my goals. I didn't have big goals, but I have to look back at that. Like, I did meet my goals.
Yeah.
Last year I didn't, but.
I like to think about Brandon, like Brandon went to family reunion this year for his first time, and but being, I sold 155 units last year. One of the top 15 teams in the region, and he walks into family reunion and sees people on stage that sell 155 units in a month.
Right, yeah.
He's like,
Well, it's awesome, yeah.
You're not one of two people,
Mhm.
you don't see, you know what I mean? Like, you saw two
Yeah.
agents that did extremely crazy well, and it was like everybody else. That's my perspective,
But
looking at it,
but
right?
also what I
But
think,
yeah, it's wonderful because overall, the scope of Whitley
That's what it
County,
was.
if you look up my numbers, I mean,
Yeah.
just for Whitley County, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I was
yeah,
always there, but,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I
and then
think-
last year I had a terrible year. So that was also kind of like
but what's the other great thing about it is that guy that sells, or gal, I can't remember who it was, that sells so many units a month, is gonna tell you how they do it. That's to say, well, you want my system, I'll just email you what I do every day.
Yeah.
Here's my
Yeah.
time, here's my checklist, here's my social schedule, here's my follow-up
Yeah.
schedule, let's just send it to you.
it's so
Yeah.
abundance, like
Yeah.
abundance.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
It's not, it's not Whitley County, where everyone's like.
But I mean,
my stuff.
Like, I come here, we share.
Jasper
Great.
County is like that too.
Yeah. copy of home. That's the worst.
Yeah, yeah, it
Those
is.
people, you could not make
Well, I will take your referrals if you want in K County. I get it. I get it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I mean, I get like that too, where I,
Mhm.
you know, I'll get followed, do a listing presentation with people I don't know,
Mhm.
and like these people, not that it matters, but, he was, at least he was a doctor, and they were young, and I thought they're probably super techie, and at the time, you know, I went in with my little paper, let's make a presentation, I just felt like a total nerd and loser, and somehow I got it, but I still, like, some people I still just get very nervous around, I don't know. Anyway,
It's so good to hear that. I mean, I don't want to make, like, I'm glad you're uncomfortable. But having a successful business, obviously, like you guys are, you have big businesses, you're doing a lot, and that you still have those thoughts, like, and feelings.
that's what I wanted to
So,
know, I'm like, I
like-
don't think like that.
I think that I've just, yeah, and I haven't been like networking and I haven't done any of that. So I'd like get in my own head about
Mhm.
stuff, you know what I mean? When you're not out.
Everybody does.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
but, and it's,
Yeah, it's funny, I have people that live kind of across the street. And she was gonna sell, now she's gonna keep her house and rent it out, but they don't want me to help them buy. And I'm like, is she blowing me off? And I'm like, well, of course, she's there, but it's just like, she doesn't wanna work with me anyway, you know, anyway, I just think
Mhm.
isn't that the
Do
next
that.
topic?
Yeah.
Let's get
So
to
I
it.
think too, Jesse, I think
Because I think-
you remember me saying this at the team, your first team in Brandon, is that there's a lot of people who think they're learning based, but they're not.
Mhm.
Because they get to a point where, well, I already know that, I've been there, I've already done that, I know, so I don't need to learn anymore, right?
And so
I've never felt that.
I just
Mhm.
say that,
Yeah,
people who do that, I'm just
agreed.
like,
Right.
you are
And
not
so-
that people,
Like-
you're like, that's not for me.
Well,
I know
Tiffany
you
pointed out a bit ago
Mhm.
that every deal's new, right?
Mhm.
Because you're gonna run into that client,
Mhm.
right? You're always gonna run into that situation
Mhm.
where, oh my God, there's a gate to hell in the basement of this house, how do I sell this one?
Or someone died.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
I thought what you said, but I was
Right.
like, seriously?
But,
I was gonna tell the new people that, like, after this, we're all meeting out back to drink the Kool-Aid.
But the seasoned agent can learn from the new agent, because the new agent is learning basic systems and models
Mhm.
that the seasoned agent has forgotten.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right,
Mhm.
and that's why even if you've been in the business 20 years, classes like Ignite are good to take, even though they're designed for people with X amount of deals or less. So it's never stop learning. Always make time, put it on your calendar.
Mhm.
And if you put it on your calendar and somebody calls you and says, hey, I want to go do a showing at 11 o'clock, I've got an appointment. Answer your no.
Last year, my 411 had every quarter, I was gonna go to a training, and by training, it had to be like somewhere else. So like family reunion, easy, quarter one.
Mhm.
Quarter three, we went to the ALC training, so like, I'm not even talking trainings here, but it was, so that's a really easy
Mhm.
quarter of the goal to help
Mhm.
grow your business, is like find a training that's not as accessible, and maybe more like specific to the time of year or something, and then go to the trainings, like invest in that. If nothing else, it's a great write-off.
But if you want to be an educator in Keller Williams, I've already got to sign you up for a class, so, yeah, so.
Just tell me 6 months in advance. I can come up there.
Don't feel like you have to go
Gotta be
to
soon.
everything.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
like, that's part of, like, I get in my head and like, okay, I gotta go, you know, I mean, we have so many trainings and I live like an hour and 15 minutes away. And at some point, I need to show homes and sell houses, you know? All the training in the world is gonna
Mhm.
do a bit of good. I can't be here 4 days a week,
Mhm.
you know, like,
Mhm.
we have to be realistic and like, we have to be selective with our time.
Mhm.
So I would like to, I like you guys,
Mhm.
but I can
Mhm.
go show houses and sell
Mhm.
houses and work on work
Mhm.
some too, you know, so.
Yeah, I think to wrap it up, we just had you guys just say, if you wanna talk about 1, 2, or 3 things that you intend to learn from classes or books or whatever, so.
I put down the first classes that we had, like, we had a bunch of them. I try to make most of them, sometimes,
Yeah,
I
you're
get a little
probably,
spotty.
yeah,
I get a little spotty sometimes, but I try to make it, I haven't read most, I've read a little bit of the MREA book, but I have not, really sat down and read the whole thing, so I always hear you guys talk about how good that is, so,
You could just stick it on the audio too, if you're driving.
Mhm.
so I can commit to reading that, and then also I put down like, I've got other agents, you guys, Brian, learning from you guys and other agents. And also situations like I said, like Lee can tell me a million times how to do the purchase agreement, but when I get the purchase agreement, I'm still gonna know what I do. So it comes to the situation, you gotta go through it to know it.
Here's what I would do, this is what I did actually, you might have told me to do this, but I printed one up and I had it filled out.
Mhm.
So then, because usually like a inspection period.
You keep all that stuff the
like
same.
10 days.
Yeah.
So then I would just go back and cross-check off one that I had, I'd like black out their names or whatever, but yeah, that's just a good.
Or use templates.
Yeah,
and
keep it
DocuSign
consistent.
and Stuff, cause like 90% of stuff's the same, so you can create templates and
Are
DocuSign.
there templates for documents?
Yeah,
I didn't know that. So I put that video up every time I log off, I have that video of you talking right here.
I don't teach that to you in the get-go, cause I want you to fill it out, but once you get to like 40 deals a year.
so for 12
Better.
years, I didn't know that I could create a template in DocuSign. And for 12 years, every offer, I'm always wondering, like, how are these new templates? She'll be like at my listing showing it and she'll be like, oh, we're gonna write an offer. And a half hour later, I have it. I'm like,
How did you come home and do it?
Right.
show how, and then I'm like, okay, I'm taking too much time for the little things I'm doing, and that's probably in my mind where I'm limited, because I don't have enough time to do all this, because I'm placing all of the stuff in every single offer.
But I think that's why it's most important that we are talking and communicating and helping each other. Because I've had so many, I didn't know you could do that.
I feel like that every day, every day.
Yeah, like, the homeless man there, people didn't know about it. They're like, what is that? I'm like, yeah, you can do this stuff, but
I love it.
that's why it's so good for us to have
Mhm.
talk
Mhm.
and, and help each other.
Mhm.
There's no reason to reinvent the wheel
Mhm.
if what you have is working
Mhm.
and you are okay with sending it to me and I can just put my name on it.
Mhm.
Like, that's the point of us
Mhm.
all kind of getting together and it makes it.
Mhm.
So.
Jesse, do you have any, or anything?
Not any unique ones, I just had MREA, shift and KWU connect.
And I think I'm gonna try to attend some classes and stuff, even if they're geared towards newer agents, and just, I know that even though I've been in the business for a long time, I have a lot to learn. So
That's great.
I could use restroom. Where's the restroom?
So I think for me, like the MREA, I struggle like with Marlon, sitting down, actually reading a book. That's really difficult for me, sitting down and watching a movie, but I do like systems. So I'm kind of like all over the place. So I know, the MREA, like specific visiting those principles. I think there's 24 of them. And just having those, because when I go through them and I just kind of look at them, it's like, oh, yes, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yes. And that, I think breaking down the MREA, because it is like everything's there. And so like, again, not reinventing the wheel, just doing the things that we know to do because that can make us successful. Like we know that people do these things and they live really big lives. So why try to, change it or fight it? Same with like with the coach. It's like, everyone's like, get a coach, get a coach, get a coach. And I don't know why I put in my head, probably that entrepreneur, I'm like, yeah, this is not really for me, right? And it's been like absolutely game changing since having breakfast coaching. So thank you very much. Yeah. It's almost like if you just do the things that they say to do, it's crazy.
Well, sometimes, again, so many people I've coached, or even agents I don't coach, will call and I think I'm doing this, I just wanted that like one last little like, this is the right direction. And just that little nudge, or that little thumbs up, it's kind of reassurance.
I need that all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's
But that's
so,
not-
it's almost a little concerning to me how often I need them to say, yes, that is right. And I will blame you if it's wrong.
Let me ask you this, so you call Brandon, so 1 minute, 30 seconds.
Yeah,
Or do you want to sweat about it for the next 10 days while you wait to make sure that thing you're trying to verify?
oh, yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
how I live my life.
So
Avoiding that at all.
it's worked out 1 minute, 30,
Yes.
because it
Oh,
just
always.
freed up your mind for 10 days. Because let's just, I'm just figuring out inspections, all,
Oh, yeah.
there's
Oh,
something
yeah.
about this inspection thing.
Yeah,
If you're not sweating for 10 days, that's a good use of your time.
yes, it's happening with a comp right now. I sent it to him yesterday. My people are texting me like as we speak, like, to verify basically, because they're trying to decide to put on a new roof or not, right? So like, we need to know the comps.
Mhm.
And anyway, blah, blah, I texted Brandon, I'm like, hey, when can you have those to me by? Because I need him to point me in the right direction, because comps to me are like the most important things to get right, and they're like the biggest gray area. And I hate gray areas,
Mhm.
so I need him to verify that, so that I don't feel like I left money on the table.
Or
Mhm.
list it here, offering allowance for your roof. And maybe we'll
Yeah.
figure it out.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but
Limiting, but who got limiting beliefs?
It sounds like we all have.
Real high.
Yes. Okay, so I have removing your limiting beliefs and, I'll start off just by, reading what it says.
Can I
It
jump
says-
in, Tiffany, real quick?
Yes, you can.
I know it's stressful for you to follow systems, and I'm not making fun of you, I'm here, and I know you did a little bit of research on your own. Teach it like you want to teach it.
Yes,
not-
I
not-
am. Yes.
Good, okay, just want to make sure.
Yes.
Some people like, I don't need you to tell me that.
I just wanted to make sure, because she, first thing she did, she went,
So good. Well, I just kind of wanted to go
Yeah.
to, you know, what it says, you need to clear your mind of limited beliefs before you can successfully develop at a higher level. And any thoughts in your head. So start off with my own little notes. I am one, it's interesting because what, it sounds like what we all chose to do is what we struggle with the most. I am a super positive person, like I'm a glass half full girl, that's just who I am. If you ever see me in a space that's not that, be concerned and Brittany, send me a text, are you okay? Because I am, that's just who I am. So, but I also have to have a whole system in, like in the morning to set my day. If I don't do this, it just goes down. It's not right. So, every day you and I make a choice. So every day that I wake up, I make a choice in my mind and I try and remove all limiting beliefs. Now, is it possible all the time? No, because once you think you've conquered one, then it comes, right back. So anyway,
And I have to say too, the enemy
Yes.
will attack.
oh,
Like,
for sure, he
in that
does.
spot, you
He
think
does.
the enemy's-
Yes, he does. He does. So, if I could just kind of go around the table and just ask everybody what the first thing that hits your mind today, because every hour you may have something different, but what is something that maybe limiting belief that you're struggling with today?
I'm not who I was. Like, reminding myself that, letting the past go, like letting go of things, you know what I mean? Like things that, and remembering how far I've come. Like, does that make sense?
Yes.
Letting the past go, remembering how far I've come. I'm not who I used to be, and I can do these things. Sometimes I
And
sit
you
down on
are
my laptop.
You
and
are doing.
Yeah.
I get the panic, it's like PTSD of what it was when I first started in the business and I didn't know how to do anything. I know how to do things now, but when I sit down at my laptop, sometimes I still get that feeling of like, I don't know where to find that. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I gotta get my head to get like, I know how to do this, I know where it's at, and I know how to find it, and I know how to find all those answers.
You
know
could
what I
probably
mean?
tell someone else too.
Yeah.
You know so well now, you could probably show someone else how to do
But
it, like.
first starting and my business happening as fast as it did, it would take me 3 hours to write a purchase agreement.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know how to get up and like copy and like go back and look and all these things. And my brain wasn't smart enough to, well, just take a picture of it with your phone and look at it. I was trying to find it and go back to it and couldn't find it. And all of these things, it was terrible. And the other day I was like, good gosh, if it's on my screen, I could just take a picture and look at my phone. I don't even have to know how to do that, It's that simple stuff that I lose it. The simple things like that people will be like, oh yeah, that's really easy. I don't know how to do it. But I do now. I do know how to do it now.
Yeah.
There's ways to figure it out.
Yeah.
So it's that limiting mindset.
And then another thing is, we think about researching it, but what about just calling Brittany and saying, hey, you have a quick minute, can you walk through this purchase agreement with me on how to do it? So sometimes it's so
Yes,
hard to
you have.
ask for help. Or listening to Brian on video to do an instead. I could call and talk to Stacy really quick and she'll just walk me through, so we also have to remove that limiting belief that we are out here on our own.
Right.
That we also have people that wanna see us succeed and win, and we have a support system. Like, when even going to a listing, you know, as we talked about, I'm like, oh, I have a team. Like, I look at everybody as my team, like, are you, nope, I have a whole team, because that's the way,
Yeah, me too.
this is family. So I know that if I need to talk to anybody or call anybody, well, almost anybody, I can. So, you know,
Yeah.
everybody laughs. Yeah, so that's the way it's like. Yeah, but that's, we also, like, removing that we are not on an island by ourselves, is that we are here to help each other, so, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I had it and I just lost it.
Oh, that's.
Oh, I think my big one right now is like, if they don't wanna work with me, they don't like me. And like, for someone not to like me is like my worst. Which is why I think I'm so good at first impressions. I say that, but I know I'm good like with people, like, I say first impressions, but I truly know that I'm genuine and I care about people and I want the best for people, but. And I think that comes out when they first meet, and that's why that feels like that's good. But if I have any form of rejection in real estate, it is like world. And so like full transparency, and Jesse knows this, but like one of the girls who just joined our team, her and I grew up with the exact same sphere. And we have very similar personalities and we have very similar lifestyles, and I've had things that have gone to her husband, and now I've had one that's gone to her, and it is like, we work through it because we're besties, but it feels world. And but I get there before I even have the opportunity, so that's why I'm trying to live like, people who wanna work with me, are gonna work with me, and like anybody else, I don't need to sweat it, like Lauren, her name is also Lauren, it's also Lauren. Oh. So now you got thousands saying, they're literally our best friends, like. And so, but to know that like, she's gonna serve the people who work with her the best possible way she can, because they chose her. And same for me, like, that's. I can work through. But yeah, rejection in real estate is really hard. It's really.
Mine's kind of big and heavy, so I don't know how much I'll get into it, but. Kind of what you were talking about, not letting my past. You know, because my husband says that I have 18 jobs. Because I constantly in the mindset, my ex was very horrible. So I feel like I have to take care of my kids mentally, somewhat financially, really one of them. So I have a lot of stress to provide. And she's, you know, my kids are, the youngest is 20, so I really shouldn't be feeling that so much. But, I just really, that's why I wanna double my business, is because. And I feel like I spent a lot of money, because my ex went to take me to court for nine years. So I have like a sense in me that I really need to make that money back. But I also, that's why I'm doing my own freaking admin stuff, you know what I mean? So I know that on the back end, it's hurting me. Because I'm thinking, well, 14, you guys said 14,000 is a lot, I'm like, that's a lot, because I know what I can help my kids with, you know, or, so
Well-
anyway, that's my big.
Well, I'll turn that around, because the 14,000 you spend doing that opens you up to do more $400 an hour work.
Oh, I'm doing
Yeah.
stupid things, and I can't say no, like somebody asked, you know, I have a friend who begged me for 7 years to sell Cabby clothes, which I love them, so I said, yes, I don't have time to do that, I'm losing money.
You should say what?
Yeah. I know, and she told me I could be a rookie of the year, and I'm like, I mean, they don't make much money, and I'm thinking, I can sell my $50,000 house I sold last year, well, that made money, like I said, anyway, I just gotta like, you know, but it's interesting too, because when you were talking about we're okay where we are right now, like, I'm like, read my mind, because about a week ago, I started thinking, you know what, I really need to let go of a lot of the past stuff. And I think that it's in the last week or two, I've felt that I've done that, but, yeah, so.
Not to beat a dead horse, but that 14,000 also could be like one or two more deals that you do because you have the mental clarity and the time and the
Mhm.
relationship piece
Mhm.
and the
Oh, yeah.
freedom. Open you up to do
Yeah.
business that makes up for that.
Yeah, yesterday I drove around for 2 hours looking for a new light fixture for my flip. Cause I thought the other one was, I mean, it's just stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
And I know it, you're like, and I know
But
it.
like something, I don't know, I
Yeah.
just,
Mhm.
and when I was married to my ex, who was very financially successful, he gave me no money, I did everything. And I, like, people try to like carry my suitcase, and I'm like, no, I mean, I feel like it's just been ingrained in me, you have to do everything, you have to be everything for everybody.
Everybody.
You know, and,
Yeah. Which, and just to
like going
add,
on vacation,
yeah,
I don't feel like I can go even to India for the night, because I'm like, that somebody might.
somebody needs him, yeah.
You know, and it, the clients or buyers or my, whatever, and I'm like. Exhausted, that's me.
And to add to that was one of the main reasons why I came over to KW is for the admin and transaction coordinator situation, because you guys kind of know from the LC, but my story was, I was with a very, very small brokerage. And I did 54 deals that year, and when I tell you, I was drowning, I was exhausted, I was, congratulations, but literally, I just could go in my office and cry. Like, I was so, it was just so much, because I was doing all the things, being everything to everybody. And I was giving everybody this raft, you know, throwing out the
Yeah.
life raft to catch them, and I literally was underwater. And my husband is the one that told me, he said, babe, you cannot do this. You have to leave. That mindset, limiting mindset, no, I can't, I have to stay here. But if I go somewhere else, people are gonna say, why did she leave there? You know, worried about what everybody else would think, why I left this great brokerage, you know, and it paralyzed me. Analysis, analysis paralysis, overthinking it
Yeah.
and staying too long, you know, just, and so I understand what you're saying. 100%, like, you do have to, I had to save myself. And I was loyal to everybody else, and I had to be loyal to myself. And I think for all of us, we also have to remember that in this business, every good opportunity is not a God opportunity. And you have to be loyal to yourself, because you can save everybody and drown, you know, yourself. So I would say that. And then my vacations, I don't know if anybody knows, I know everybody, you hear people talk about these vacations, but it came from, pain and because my husband had COVID and he almost died. And so at that point, when he came out of, he literally had a list of things. For those that you don't know, it's not like I'm just going to have these lavish, but it was, babe, we're going to do this. We're going to take vacation. We're going to spend time with each other, because I was working hard, he works hard. And so it was more about time for us, keeping the main thing, those golf balls. That's the reason why we did it. So I just want everybody to know, like, that we're just trying to be out here. It literally came from, almost death is what finally made us go. At the end of the day, the business doesn't matter. How much money I make doesn't matter. How much money you make. If you're not here, it doesn't mean anything. And so it was a reset. That's what really woke me up, and it was a total reset. So it made me look at business different. It made me look at the clients that I serve different. It made me, every good opportunity is not a God opportunity, and I just stand on that. So I don't work with everybody, and, so anyway. Yeah. Yes.
I think I probably struggle just with like not being good enough. That's like what my mind goes to all the time. Like say being in a listing appointment, like I'm going to list my lawyer's mom's house, my divorce attorney. And then being like, he's a lawyer, like, yeah, why did he call me? Yeah. To me.
Okay, and he called you. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it'd be, I'm bugging, so like, if I'm reaching out to the client or following up on leads or sending, you know, the house drive to Akron, so I'm sending, they said they wanna move, so I'm sending houses and they're not responding, my bugging, so I gotta get that out, I'm not bugging. Brian said like, okay, don't send the call, what's gonna happen, if you don't call them, what's gonna happen?
You
Nothing's
call
gonna
me,
happen.
or they'll say, we didn't hear from you.
Yeah. So, just leaving on bugging people, so just gotta get that out.
Yeah.
So,
I think you could look at it as you're offering them help. Is there anything I can do to help? And what a wonderful thing. So I think if you think of it as a gift, every time you reach out to someone, yeah.
I'm gonna start sending you when I see in like the Facebook chats, and it'll be an agent who screenshots a text conversation, and it might be a house, and then an event invite, and then a, hey, how are you? And then this, and they have but over major. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're thinking of moving and we're ready to list our house, we want to use you. Like, those are my favorite pictures, because I feel the same way. I responded, I'm probably bugging them, whatever. So I'll think of you, the next time I see one, I'm gonna send it to you on Facebook. Be like, look, it's worth it, because you're staying top of mind.
Yeah.
They don't have to respond to everything. If it were me, I'd be like, I have to respond to this because I think I hate them. But like, yeah, they might not respond ever, and then all of a sudden it might be, you were the most consistent, you were there, you were thinking of them, and just, yeah. I think that would.
What changed, I felt the same way. What changed my perception of that was having a busy life. Like, I truly appreciate the people that follow up and things that I may not respond to, like, I'm interested in a new specific car. Maybe I'm not quite ready to go get it. But the car salesman that does, I might not respond, but I appreciate those things, because when I'm ready, that's who.
They're gonna go to.
Yeah.
Because you're always working,
Yeah.
they think you are always on, even if you're taking your evenings with your family, they think you're always on because you're thinking of them.
Yes.
I feel like I need to learn everything before I can do it. Ignorance is a big fear for me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in this business, you'll never work if you do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You got it.
I need to have a perfect business
Yeah.
card, perfect event, I need to know all this stuff, and I just dive in and then you'll learn.
Yeah, I can definitely identify with that. I think still being relatively new, I was always like scared of what to say. You know, do I say the wrong thing? I don't know what to say. I don't want to like not have an answer. I'm a lot more comfortable now just being like, yeah, I have no idea, but you know what? I can figure it out. I know enough people that if they don't know, they know someone who knows. So that's been really powerful, I think. And then, yeah, just being able to like network with other, you know, like, hey, I just want to, you know, get another perspective. Like I talk to Brian basically almost daily about those things because it's nice having that experience. I think too, part of like a limiting belief for me is like, I feel like, okay, I've got some systems and I've got some of this, but there are a lot of people in the room who have really big businesses. And that's like, I would love to be there and I'm not. And then it's like, am I ever going to, you know? So that's in my head always.
There's,
Yeah. You know, and it's like, why? And I find myself comparing and then I'm like, oh, they've been in the business for 15 years. You stupid. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And so I try to think of like Phil Jones. I think he says something like, you can't compare, what is it? Like you don't know anybody else's insides.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you don't compare, your outside to someone else's inside.
It says, don't compare your outside, your inside to
Someone
somebody
else's
else's.
outside, yeah, because you can never know everyone.
Yeah.
So that really resonated when you were talking about that, Lauren, like, because I do the same thing, as I think, I want to be there. And so, yeah, like I'm my own person, I have a different life and that's okay. And I remember the same time, like, I think when I first signed up with KW, I was talking to Brian, he's like one of the first people I ever talked to. And I'm like, I know nothing, but I know that 85% of agents aren't agents after 2 years. So why is that? And I was like, how do you be successful if most people aren't? And he's like, well, it depends on what's successful to you. And that just hit me because I'm like, oh, because in my mind, it's always all or nothing. If I'm not the one, then I'm failing.
Yeah.
And so it's that's really not it, because for the first time, I mean, I spend my time how I want. I get to be home during the day with my kid. I get to have lunch with my husband, I'm here with all of you guys. So that's really, that's a biggie for me. Mhm.
Me?
Limiting belief.
Limiting belief? Well, I'll just tell you where it originates from, because just like looking at all of you guys here. I mean, if you don't know, I already love all you guys. I think you know that.
Mhm.
So I know how big of a business all of you could have.
Mhm.
I already see how big all of you can be. My limiting belief is probably wrapped around, am I doing what I need to do to make sure that you're getting to the next step, to get to the next step, to get to the next step, to get to the business that you want to have? Because I've kind of like you talk about, I'm a visionary, but I'm also a process guy. So I understand that you don't go straight to Z. You know, I learned, I'm a math major, by the way, and just put another stamp on my geekhood. Yeah. Yeah.
You are not the same people.
Yeah, well, I was weird. I went computer information systems math,
That's right.
and then I shifted into, actually physical education and math. Just to get a teaching certificate. Computer information is a struggle anyway, but anyway. I see a big picture, but I understand there's steps to get there, and math is the reason why, because math, yes, can I look at a times table and tell you what they all are? Yes. But when you get down to deeper math and harder math, you have to know the steps, right? You have to go, you can't just look at a linear equation in calculus and say this. I don't want to bore you with what that all would be.
You spoke way over.
I know, but yeah, so anyway, you can't just, you can't just look at things and do this. You have to go, well, this leads to this, and this leads to this, to get the correct answer, right? Does that make sense? So I understand that, and my limiting belief is to myself is, am I doing what I need to do for myself to prepare you all to prepare the market center? So, you know, it's small.
Yeah, no, it's big. You know, like you said, you're kind of a visionary. You see like the bigger, or was it?
That was her.
You see the bigger picture. So
Yeah.
you see the things that we don't see in ourselves.
Mhm.
And we talk about like, oh, I'm just worried about, you know, my thing, comparison is a thief of joy. I don't look at social media to compare, because what you see on here is
Not
not
real.
the reality. Spaces of a book that people,
Mhm.
they can be whoever they want to be. They can pretend to be people that they're really not. And so I just think that it's very, very important that we all remember this. Comparison is a thief of joy. There is only, like you said, one you.
Mhm.
God made you who you are. No, none of us, I can't be you. You have so many, you know, attributes that I wish I could have. Brittany, I aspire to, there's so many, Desmond, Jesse, we
Yeah.
all have so many youth that so just remember that comparison is a thief of joy. God created you to be who you are. When somebody calls you, Brittany, that lawyer, he called you. You didn't call him, he called you. So when you go in and listen to an appointment, the one there with confidence, you called me. So you're interviewing me, but I'm interviewing you, because are you a client of the board? You know, so, but yeah, it's so true, because you see in us what we don't see within ourselves. It's like, come on, baby, walk. You can do it. I know you can. Yeah. So,
I really do.
yeah. Aaron? Let me believe.
Brock, good basketball player, you can't get over it.
Keep them up at night.
You know what? You know what?
I'm walking out.
I was like, I was gonna be humble and not get on you.
Yes.
I was gonna do the same
Yeah,
thing. No, you and Marlene. No. No, ironically, I wish I could stay in the place that I am, like, this moment. Like, right now, I don't have no limiting belief, but it's gonna be some revisions.
Yeah.
I wish I could just stay in this place right now, and I literally just had a client walk out that, which, that's why I sent you that text, we gotta talk.
Oh, that. Oh, thank you.
So try to give you a heads up.
No.
We'll talk, but I try, I don't. They're not hard.
They don't care.
But no, like right now, nothing but one of the things that, that I know I constantly beat myself up for is, I know like I got a lot of expectations from other people, but I expect too much of myself, and I kind of beat myself up a lot, like, and over critique myself, and it kind of like
makes me stagnant sometimes.
So you're critical, that's a limiting belief, you're over.
And the crazy thing about it is, it's not other people.
Yeah, it's you.
Yeah, oh yeah, we're all worse than me.
It's me.
Yeah.
It's me.
Mhm.
And I think that, like, I don't have a lot of, like comparison to people, Joy. I hear you say that all the time, and it's like, that resonates so heavy with me because I don't compare myself to nobody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I can do that with appreciating everybody else at the same
Yeah.
time, celebrating everybody else at the same time.
Well, and I think, yeah, and then the comparison part too, for me is, like, I was talking about having a slow beginning. And then if I'm watching somebody else post all these, I'm like, why, get yourself in gear, I'm beating myself up.
Mhm.
Like, you should be doing that. The market is slow right now. It's you. You're slow. You need to get
Right.
the mind of, something telling you things.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what they are.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
okay.
like mine.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
get up.
You're only.
We can have a class on that too, how to see other people.
I never told you.
Cool thing though, is we have ability to tell them.
But yeah, it's not really good. You can post
There are gens that are for travelers.
She can post her like, she did it in her store.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking,
You have people that are, they need to have. That's how it was until real estate, and then everyone started having me, and I'm like, you really know. And now I just want to go back through and be like, do I have a relationship with you? Like, if we chat, but if not, I don't want you seeing my kids on my Facebook page, like, you have a business on there, you know?
And so, I have this, like, part of my morning routine, I have these cards, if anybody, they're on Amazon, I'm telling you guys, amazing. If you are a person that needs that, like, you're all about affirmation in the morning, but they're called micro affirmations. And so what I do, I pick randomly and I draw a card. And it sits on my desk, because it has a little holder, and so on Monday, I drew and said, good things are all around me, and most importantly, good things are within me. And so I like meditate on that, and I tell myself that, because again, on social media, I am a positive person, but I have to always confirm to keep myself in that space. So I want to share a part with you guys today, and I want you guys to pull one out. And I don't know what they are, but.
But God does.
But God does. God does. I like that. And I hope,
Where did you get those?
Well, Amazon, I'll send them.
Okay, all right.
I'll look at it.
Picture.
Yes, please. Yes.
You give me
Oh,
that.
no,
I saw her.
I need it.
I'm sorry, I don't wanna get it on.
Tiffany, you need to do a 2-minute video once a week on the Facebook
I will
page
do it.
of your, like, affirmations of Tiffany. Oh, do it.
Oh, Lord, no, never mind. We gotta say no, yeah.
Mm-mm.
You need to do it.
Pick whichever one.
Just pick,
No, it's not true, I promise you.
am I supposed to look?
Aaron, you wanna pick your affirmation, or you want me to drop you?
Do you feel like every single one of them is made for you?
Everyone.
Yeah,
every
it's like,
time I
good,
get a call,
I feel that, yeah, that's funny. Mhm.
I got it.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
You can read it.
Okay, Aaron, you go first. Since you're right there.
My life reflects my vision and my authentic self. I like it.
Me?
You wanna talk about your affirmation? We can.
Oh. It's true.
It's what you just told us.
It's what you just told us, okay?
And it's gonna be cool.
You're like,
Pay attention to what you said during this and pay attention to what you just picked,
Mhm.
because I have this feeling that they're gonna line up, right? Okay. So mine said, I am on the right path and I trust that things are moving in my favor.
Ah, man. Mhm.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-mm.
I'm just waiting for the tears to roll up.
Well, it does.
That's okay.
Can you please
Yeah,
stop?
you wanna
Mm-mm.
The word favor,
Yeah, I love that word, and some people get,
they don't like, I don't know, I feel like sometimes people don't like that word. If you use that word and you use that word to describe yourself, they think, well, what makes you so special?
Yeah.
You know, I think what makes us so special is because we have the ability to claim and to know our source.
Yeah.
When I'm talking about favor, it's just me saying, I know my source. Yeah, but some people like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, favor, well, and that is, it does like, I love everyone's, yes, he does. You know, favor ain't fair. I like that.
I have a gift and I am responsible for sharing it with the board.
Oh, thank you. Future Lauren.
I'm sorry. I thought you
I feel like I can't do it all right now, so.
God bless us.
Oh, I turned to shut down. I always focus on what I can do and what is within my power. All solutions come from there. Brian did get one. You know, go. Affirmation.
You want
I
that?
didn't get one either.
Oh, yep. So I was telling them, I pull a card on Monday and I have it on my desk for the week. They're from Amazon. But I literally, like, this is good.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it yet.
This and Jesus is how you're so positive all the time, Tiffany. That's what I'm gonna believe about you now. Your cards and Jesus.
Yeah, my cards and Jesus, yeah, and coffee.
Not in that order though.
Yeah, no, I know. Okay,
We all know coffee's first.
yeah.
But I think, no, I'm not though.
All right, I just want to apologize. I actually do have to leave at 4 o'clock. I was thinking this would be like an hour class. I'm trying to be arranging my day. I am so grateful to be alive, healthy, and thriving. Health is good.
Can you say it again? Please?
I am so grateful to be alive, healthy, and thriving.
Makes me think of last year.
Go on, Mr. Foster.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I make the best of every moment, every day, and every situation I'm faced with. I like that.
Yeah. And, oh, you did.
Today I will take one step in the right direction.
You're what now?
Today I will take one step in the right direction.
All right. That's so perfect.
That is.
Everybody does so hard.
Mhm.
I live life with a constant sense of intention from moment to moment, and I know I am here. I feel like
Aw. Yeah. I'm listening to that.
Mhm.
It's to.
The more you say it, the more you believe it.
Set that
Mhm.
intention.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. I have the courage to face my fears. Mhm. Mhm. I'm working on it. Mhm. Mhm.
I am here to live my best life.
Mhm.
I am here to live my best life.
Mhm.
Why is mine blank? No, I'm teasing, I'm teasing. My grateful heart attracts goodness and abundance into my life.
Yeah.
I would agree with that because
Yes.
I'm sitting in the stable right here, so that tells me that's true.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I love it. All right, well,
Boone, did you already read your thing?
we don't watch a video now and.
Are we going?
Ben, I have to give you gratitude. Can I give you gratitude?
I'll guess.
I just think you're creating such a legacy in the short time that you've been here. To the point where if God put you somewhere else tomorrow, like you had to go move, I don't mean die, I mean like move, like we would all miss you so much.
Yeah.
So thank you for choosing us every day, not just this opportunity, but consistently reaching out to us, checking on us, texting us, like. I think you are like the reason I want a lot more people here at Keller Williams, and that's just outside of everything Keller Williams has to offer, so not to, you have a big weight on your shoulders, I know you feel that by what you shared, but like. You are amazing, I'm so grateful you're
Yes.
here.
You're gonna
Agreed.
make me flip.
Mhm.
I know, that's the
Yeah.
goal. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Make him cry. Yeah.
Get on with it.
Mhm.
I am a fryer.
Yeah.
Zero negative feedback.
None.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Zero.
Yeah.
None?
Yeah.
None.
I'm doing something wrong. I gotta
Yeah.
sign it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's your fault. That's not mine.
Yeah.
So thank you much. I really, really, really appreciate it.
Yeah. No, you're a blessing. Go Brian.
Hi, I'm Kimber Minkeady, and I've been with Keller Williams since 2007. And I'm excited to talk to you guys today about our 6 personal perspectives, specifically removing your limiting beliefs. Now, what are limiting beliefs? These are our thoughts that can often hold us back from being able to achieve unlimited success. So what we want to talk about is how you can remove your limiting beliefs and unlock unlimited potential. When I first started in the business, I just finished my first year in real estate, and we set a wild goal to close 100 transactions. Nobody in our local market in DC was closing 100 transactions at the time. And so immediately after we set it, I felt sick. I was like, there's no way we're gonna actually be able to achieve this goal. And I realized I needed to look outside of my local market to find others that had already achieved 100+ transactions. And in our Keller Williams family, I was able to identify several top agents around the country who were very willing to talk to me about what they had done to achieve success in their real estate business, especially so early on in the start of their careers. We went on to really focus on what the activities were that were going to help us reach the goal. This was a humongous shift in our thinking. And so ultimately, we went small to go big. We really said, what are the key contacts, conversations that we need to have as a team on a regular basis to achieve that goal? And when we looked up by October of that year, we'd exceeded our goal by being able to have focused folks around us that helped hold us accountable and who were able to really get focused on those key numbers, which were not the lagging indicators, but our leading indicators. Now, the reality of limiting beliefs is it's not just a one-time thing. So if you fast forward a few years and I stepped into the regional director role for the Maryland DC region, I saw those limiting beliefs creep right back up. I had taken a very untraditional path as being a mega agent into regional and then national leadership. And so there were lots of limiting beliefs that I didn't have enough of the experience coming in that hadn't followed that traditional path into leadership in our organization. And so I did the exact same thing. I went and started to talk to different people that had held the role, had been in the role, and succeeded in the role, and really looked to understand what they had done to really allow that success to take place. And that piece of being able to identify someone that could walk you through and really transform the idea that this limiting belief was actually something that was inside of me, that was holding me back from being able to recognize and realize my full potential. So I'm going to encourage you today to first identify a moment when you realize that maybe a belief that you have, that maybe one that you've had your whole life, that's holding you back from doing the production that you want to do, from stepping into the leadership role that you want to do. And the second thing I'm going to encourage you to do is look for someone in your world, and maybe not in your world today, that has actually achieved that they've done this thing, they've been in the role, they've closed the units that you're interested in doing. And pick up the phone and have a conversation. Get on a plane, meet them, have a conversation. And then look not just about what they did, but really understanding a couple of really specific steps that they took to achieve that goal, that you can implement back into your practice. Because we know when you unlimit your beliefs, you unlimit your future.
Very good.
What are the odds of us being done in 15 minutes?
I can make it pretty fast. My best.
Otherwise, you have to go do our meters again.
Parking garage.
I know. I told myself that.
got me yesterday. Oh, man.
So I won't go through the accountability whole thing on there in the book then. How's that? Being accountable is the 6th perspective. And if you notice these actually they're in order for a reason. And accountability is probably the one that scares people the most. Would anybody disagree with that? Who here loves being held accountable?
Only if I'm doing good.
Yeah. Yeah. But what we have to remember is, the mindset we have to have is accountability is not something you do to somebody, it's something you do for somebody. right? It's because when you start creating a habit and a mindset of accountability, first you have to be accountable to yourself. If you say you're gonna do something for yourself, for your business, you gotta do it, right? Because I could call Jesse every week on Friday and say, yeah, I made my 100 calls today. I set 5 appointments and I got 1 under contract. I might have made 20 calls. I might have set 1 appointment, you know? So if you have to be accountable with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. Do we agree with that? Are we in touch with that emotion?
Yes.
Because accountability partners help. But if your accountability partner is like, if Jesse called me and I told her I got 20 calls, she goes, oh, that's okay. Is she being a good accountability partner? She's gonna go, why? Why didn't you make your 100 calls? What are you gonna do to make up your 100 calls? What are we gonna do to increase your appointments? What habit do we need to create? What do we need to take out of your day to make sure you're doing what you need to do? You know, these are questions that you have to ask yourself. Because a lot of us are solo agents in here, right? So that means you're your lead generator, you're your transaction coordinator, you're your accountant, you're your marketing director, you're your lead generator, your prospector. All of it, right? And I've said this to a lot of people before. So every day you have to have a meeting, a staff meeting with your 6 people and say, am I doing the lead gen I need to do today? And if the answer is no, you may need to have a little, what we call a PIP. Or what my son called coaching at Walmart to get yourself back to the level you need to get. Some days you may want to fire somebody on your team and rehire them, which would mean resetting your mindset.
Right.
But again, it's all being accountable to yourself, which in this business, since you are a business owner, everybody in here is a business owner, whether you like it or see it or not. You have a big why. Jesse, you've heard big why, Jesse, in here. Do you know what we mean when we say big why? So it's like, we all have a reason why we go to work, why we do what we do every day, right? So you have to ask yourself, what's your big why? And why do I do real estate? Why do I want to sell 20 homes a year? Why do I want to sell 40 homes a year? And you know, the quick way is to say, well, my family, my kids. But there's bigger than that, right? When Amy Brock was here teaching Tuesday, who was here for the Amy's class? Amy's awesome. She was awesome. Her big why, of course, it changes, right? Like her big why was at one point was to be able to pay for all of her kids to go to college where they didn't have any debt. And she paid for 5 degrees. And then she paid off her house. It was her next big why. And then to build a tiny house. They have a little tiny house on the lake in Kentucky Lake was their next big why. And now their next big why is to have a house in South Carolina next to their family. So she didn't have to drive all the way down there every time they have a baby, which is like every other day. Heard me pick on her about that. I gotta miss this week. I'm gonna be in South Carolina, never anything. But to reach those goals for your why, you have to hold yourself accountable. And it's not perfection. Don't expect perfection, expect progress. It's always progress, not perfection, right? But as long as you're going in the right direction, you're in great shape. But holding yourself accountable, having somebody else hold you accountable will change your life when you accept it. When you just do it to do it, you're just showing up because somebody told you should show up. But when you do it to do it, just like building systems around your business. And we point out, great, everybody's is different. Everybody's accountability is different. Everybody's system is different. But Amy did make a great quote too. I don't know, Brian, did you hear this one? That you don't rise to the level of your goal, you fail to the level of your systems.
Oh, sure.
What?
That's a thinker.
Yeah. Yeah.
On that.
Yeah, and it's, it's not to say that you can't succeed with not many systems in place. But if you want to go to the next level, you got to build a system to get to the next level. You know, then you got to build a system to get to that next level. Because like we talked in the E2P, you go only so far with talent, and then you have to go get purposeful to get to the next level. And then you use your talent plus your level of purpose to get to the next ceiling. And then you add more purpose to get to the next ceiling. You have to decide what's the last ceiling you want to hit.
Yeah.
Lauren wants to be an instructor, she said, but she's got to go to train the presenter, train the trainer. She's got to teach classes, have people give her reviews, I'll give
I
you a
gotta
panic
go real
attack.
estate.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. I have a team, so the real estate, I can leave, right?
And that, and that's why, we've got a group of about 5 of us that's gonna do an accountability group once a week. With some other stuff. And our ALC, we hold each other accountable. Our ALC, have you learned about that? So it's, you're not supposed to yet.
Okay.
So it's our Agent Leadership Council, which they were all here. They're the ones who are teaching today. Brian, Brittany, Nancy, Tiffany, Lauren, and Marlene. That's our ALC. And that's, you have to be in the top 20% to be on that, to be eligible. They meet once a month. They help make market center decisions. They help teach classes as we've done today. They bring leadership and assistance to anybody. They're kind of like Congress, right? They're a voice, Congress. They're like,
That Teresa Green, she did not like that one. I mean, it was like, she was in politics, she was like.
you're like Congress in the sense that you're a voice for the people. You're a voice for the agents to the market, to the leadership of the market center. And that's exactly what Congress is. I didn't say Senate, I said Congress. There's a difference, and if you don't know the difference, it's civics. Freshman year, right? But, the quote I gave earlier about being accountable, he said, go to class, have a coach. And it doesn't have to be a paid coach, just have a coach. Somebody's gonna be there for you, to be honest with you, answer questions for you, because we do have limiting beliefs. We do struggle with being purposeful. We struggle with being learning based. Sometimes we think, I gotta chase that next deal. But when you learn how to do the process without feeling like you have to chase, now you're running a business. Now you're not a salesperson anymore, right? Because the salesperson is chasing the next client. The business person is thinking, well, I'm doing my daily stuff, so that next client's coming.
Yeah, right. That's right.
That's fine. This person said no. That's fine. This one fell out of, deal fell out, because I know that to reach my goal, I gotta do this every day. And if I do this every day, that's my win. I did what I need to do today. Okay. Did I get one under contract? Good. Did I do what I need to do to win? Yeah. That should be your daily. Because if you're stressed too much about that one deal, we'll just have another conversation.
I take them all personal.
I don't.
But they're not. I understand that you do, and it's a similar thing for me, because.
You take all of us personal,
I do.
every deal I take personal, like, and deadlines and, you know what I mean? And like.
Yeah.
I feel like if I ever get to the point where I don't feel that way about it, maybe I ought to not be doing it anymore. When it all becomes so like, I don't know, like.
Well, I'm
Transactional.
not,
Yes, transactional.
right.
When it all becomes so that, I don't know that I wanna do real estate anymore. If it's
Yeah.
not personal,
It'll never be that.
Well,
It'll never be like that for you. Yeah. Yeah.
Hang on. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
What you're saying is,
No.
if you don't get that listing,
Yeah, it's okay.
It
it's
doesn't matter.
okay.
Mhm.
If that deal falls through.
Right.
then you
I'm just
release it.
saying that, I understand that my system is I've got to talk to
Yes,
10 people today,
yes.
10 people tomorrow, 10 people Wednesday. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm not gonna be.
No, I know exactly what
Because
you.
this business is relationship, you're out there making friends, you're creating relationships. If it's transactional, then you're only caring about this one
Yeah,
closing,
transaction,
then I don't care about them anymore. And I know of a lot of agents that live that way, and they go like this, and then they crash and burn. So it's gotta be a slow burn.
Yeah.
Yes,
Go slow what?
slow burn,
Mhm.
gotta be a slow burn, yeah. Anything worth having, worth waiting for.
That's right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if you rush to get it. It's funny, an REO Speedwagon song just jumped in my, how many people even know? REO Speedwagon?
I mean, yeah.
Check it.
What's the song?
We're going to a concert. It's actually the song Don't Let Him Go, because he says there's a lyric in there, because he's got a long wick with a flame at both ends,
Mhm.
which
Oh,
means he's burning the candle at both ends.
okay.
And that it triggers me when I say that, because if you're trying to do everything fast and now, it's not, you're not building the base that you need to grow future. Right? And Jesse, you can tell me, it's your brokerage where they just telling you to get the next deal, as opposed to, what are you going to do in 10 years with your real estate business? I'm gonna punch your head. Walking into my line of fire. And I'm just asking because I don't know.
No, I mean, I don't think that that was necessarily the mindset. I just think that the lack of systems on like the brokerage of the whole trickled down to
Yeah,
the agents not. I mean, you have to kind of provide your own tools.
right,
type
I
thing.
understand. That makes sense. That makes, and at the end of the day, what I wanna help you all do, what Brian wants to help you all do is to create a strong business. That doesn't necessarily mean a bunch of volume. It means making the profit that you need to make to live the life that you wanna live. Does that make sense? Like I said, that might be 200K for Marlene, that might be 50K for Jesse. You know, Desmond wants to move to the Caribbean, so he's gonna have to get up to about 500K. Actually, it's not as expensive down there as you think it is. Move all the way to Grenada and you can probably get down to really cheap.
I look at Airbnbs, cause I want my dad, he did it all, resort for us. I told him it was awesome too, but
Thank you, guys. It was good. I'm glad all the information was, these is cut.
Thank you.
Wait, my cup.
I told him, like, that was awesome, but if I was to go back, I don't need that. So when I look at Airbnbs, it's like 3 days or 4 days to go down, they're only like, for two people, like $68 a night. In Cabo,
It's not bad.
cheap.
But I look at accountability as creating discipline. You know, some people need the word motivation in their life, but I think it's actually discipline because I had a friend of mine, I've told the story that she works out every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning and she puts it on a reel. She goes into the garage. She's taken what she claimed was half her husband's garage, made it her workout area. She works out every morning at 5:30. She's in the gym and videoing it. And she has a lot of followers. You know, she's just a teacher at high school back from. And somebody asked her a question and she posted it. She goes, how do you motivate yourself to get up every morning? She goes, I don't. I'm not motivated. I'm disciplined. Because every day I get up to work out, I'm not motivated to work out. I'm disciplined to do it every day. If I don't do it every day, it affects me. And that's what you have to do because discipline is your self today, taking care of your future self. When you create these disciplines, you'll easily be able to create the life that you want to create. And it starts with accountability. That's my spiel on accountability. What's that?
I said I gotta go up, so.
Look, I start talking, everybody leave.
No,
I know.
I'm watching for the meter.
So Shannon Dager is teaching on the 23rd. Scotty Pressler is teaching on the 24th. by the way.
Got that in my calendar.
We're gonna do a buyer's agency role play.
Maybe we should also see if Rockland's come down that day, we can just make it a whole buyer.
Mm.
I'm gonna make it come down.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
But because it could just be that, and it could be these consultations, I mean, it could just be a bigger buyer class than just the
Yeah,
agency
I've seen
agreement.
that.
Mhm. So with this new NAR stuff, which is not all settled yet, so don't jump in any weeds. And also, it's just gonna be business as usual. So it's not gonna be much different. But that being said, we're gonna focus a lot on scripts around buyer's agency agreements. We're gonna focus a lot on having good buyer consultations and really good listing consultation. Because really.
Are you
doing
gonna
that-
have scripts for listing consultations when it comes to the whole buyer agency training?
So on the listing side, you don't worry about the buyer's agency stuff. But when you're a listing agent, this is way off tangent, but if you're having a listing consultation with a client and they're asking about the NAR settlement,
Mhm.
you could tell them that I have always been able to only list for my commission, which is true. There's never been a law or a rule that says you have to do 6%, right? It's better, in my opinion, you will get more people to look at your house and get a better price for your house if I'm offering the buyer's agent compensation. Because if I don't, immediately VAs cannot look at your house at this moment in time. Because VAs can't pay any kind of buyer's agent. So You know, it may not be on the MLS, right now, that's out of, you know, we're still putting it on the MLS. But July first, we have to have that BAA. But I would tell them, my advice would be, I would list it with paying a buyer's compensation, because then you're gonna have more people see your house. Because if I called you and you said, no, we're not offering, then I gotta go to my buyer and say, can you pay this much money? And he says no, then I'm gonna go, thank you, next house. You know, that's not a fair housing law, that's just a negotiation that broke down.
Yeah.
And it's simply what it is, because we're gonna sign a BAA for 3%. But I'm gonna tell him, I'm gonna get my 3% from the listing agent or the seller. Does that make sense? And then if you say, I am paying, but I'm only paying 2.5, then I'm gonna go, okay, I agree to that. Can you pay half? And if he says no, I'm probably still gonna be okay. And then before I write the purchase contract, I'm gonna amend my BAA with him to 2.5%. Does that make sense?
You know what's so weird to me is that, I don't even know if it was a year ago, Fair Fires Commission was not posted for the public to see. It wasn't, and then they made us post it, which I felt like, yeah, full disclosure, now we're not allowed to post it, I don't
And that's not
understand.
happened yet.
Well, I know, I'm just saying, they're
But yes.
saying that, but I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
understand a lot of
I'm
it,
saying disclose, I don't. yeah.
because they're talking about, the whole thing's about transparency.
Not
They're
steering.
taking away
Yeah.
that piece of
Can't be
transparency.
transparent.
Well, on that part, but they want the transparency between the client.
Like, if, right now, if you go on Zillow, Realtor, whatever, it'll show, like a year or so ago, it never did, now it does, but.
Most people don't know what it is
Mhm.
because it's just the abbreviation.
So on Zillow, it said BAC and.
Mhm.
Yeah, but if this all passes, you'll be able to put it on your website.
Mhm.
You'll
Oh,
be
I
able to.
remembered what the class was, I wanted to.
Oh, you're fine. What's the class?
The class is how to access and utilize our KW agent site. Like our own person.
How to access his house.
How to change it and,
Don't you have
and
to access it like as if you were basically like a client, like?
No,
no, if
he's
you
saying like
do the back
literally
end, the
physically-
backside of it.
Like you mean physically adjust your,
I don't use it, cause I have no, I don't.
so I'm gonna
really-
tell you, this is gonna be real easy.
Mhm.
Send an email to Scott Leroy Marketing and say, I wanna make these changes to my website.
Well,
It doesn't
I don't
work.
even know necessarily how to find it, which is a problem.
How to find your website?
Yeah. It's just not something we really,
Why don't you pull up, man?
but I don't even know, maybe I don't really need to use it. I don't know if it's something that would be a good thing to use.
Set up a time with Mal, she'll walk you through it, because you
Okay.
need to know your domains.
Okay, 2 minutes.
And make sure that all your settings, she'll show you how to, you get your URL for your app.
Okay.
And talk to her about adding home value to your website, like that home
let's
value,
do that.
like, put your address there.
Mhm.
And think about think about the experience you want your clients to have on your website. Between Mal and Scott Leroy, she'll connect you to Scott Leroy.
Great.
So as opposed to trying to do this in like 3 minutes, set a time. with
Oh,
Mal,
yeah.
And she'll walk you through this, because your website's gonna be your main focal point. 'Cause remember, going forward, starting July 1st, you can put your buyer commission
Well,
on your personal website.
that doesn't change yet. That's the NAR settlement. July 1st is only BAA right now.
But you can promote commission on your personal websites.
You can't.
So
But until
we'll be
they,
able to do this, will we be able to go to agent remarks and put our domain, so that another agent can pick it up?
Well, that, but also you want people in your own atmosphere anyway.
You want
You
them on
don't
your
want them
site.
on Zillow, you don't want them on Realtor or anything. This is settlement regardless, like you
Yeah.
should know how your website's working.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to be clear, that part of it doesn't happen until they approve the settlement,
Right.
and then like 90 days after that.
You can put it on showing time.
You can put it on Tricon?
Why not? It's not.
If it's, yeah, but you won't be able to have it on Realtor.com, Zillow.com, any of those things, because it's an MLS aggregate.
That's okay.
Well,
but
without showing time.
I don't, that's actually,
great.
that's actually something that's being tossed around.
Yeah, that'd be
They
great.
don't know if it can or cannot. If it can, then super simple. If it can't,
I mean,
but
here's
you can text everybody, you can email everybody, you can have it on your website, you can do all that, you just can't have it on them.
right.
That's what they're saying. I've got an appointment, guys. Thanks so much for.
Thank you, guys.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.